following podcast may be explicit. One Joe Young presents Adventures from the Shed, a tabletop RPG podcast. You can find us online at adventuresfromtheshed.com. Welcome to the Adventures from the Shed 2016 Halloween special. Mickie, JJ, Kurt, Joe, and special guest Kevin jump right into our Trail of Cthulhu game from Pelgrane Press. Grab a seat and enjoy the podcast.
Waves crash over your little ship as she fights through the heavy seas off the coast of New Jersey. It's nearly 1 in the morning, but none of you are going to get any sleep. Your heavy cargo of industrial machinery keeps you low in the water, and each wave sends water streaming over the deck and down into the hold. Captain Mulholland roars like a man possessed. Jones, get down to the engine room. Gant, secure the damn cargo. Frenchie, check the bloody lifeboat. Cookie, you're on the radio. The rest of you, on deck with me. Move!
Aye, Captain.
All right, everybody. What is your character going to do? Jones.
I'm going to do what's instructed of me.
So you headed down to the engine room.
I am.
And Gant headed into the hold, the cargo bay.
Absolutely.
And Frenchie.
Out on the deck to find the lifeboat at the rear.
Lifeboat. And Cookie.
Cookie's over at the radio.
Okay. Cookie, you reach the radio room and the radio goes dead. All you can pick up is static, although it almost seems like there's a repeated pattern concealed in the hissing distortion. Kind of maybe an odd rhythm that you can't quite recall, but maybe you've heard before. You alright, Kevin? Also, you notice the ship's compass starts spinning wildly. As you're checking the lifeboat, Frenchie, the screw on the ship starts to slow as if it's caught on something. And down in the cargo hold, Gant, you get a static shock from some of the machinery down there. None of it's actually powered. It's just loose machinery moving around in the cargo hold. And you notice a few pieces of them are of the machinery is stamped with the legend Marsh Refinery.
Damn.
And up on the deck, an unusual amount of seaweed, shells, mud, and other debris is thrown up by the waves, and the most fetid and vile stench rises up from the ocean. Lightning crashes overhead, and the wind howls, and as Frenchie reaches the lifeboat, you see something out of the corner of your eye. You're not sure what it is. What do you do?
I'm going to go closer to see what it is.
All right, Frenchie, as you go closer to see what it is, Cookie, in the radio room, you hear a noise behind you.
Sweet Mary and Joseph. What was that?
When you turn around to look, there's nothing there. Gant, over near the lifeboats, you swear you heard something, and now there's just a big splotch of blood on the deck near the lifeboats, just starting to be washed away by the rain.
Mama told me there'd be days like this. What the hell is going on? I'm out here getting shot. I need a new job. They just
It does. Gant needs a new job. And Jones, coming out of the engine room, everything seems fine and tip-top shape. And coming out of the engine room, you see something down the corridor going up the stairs. What do you do?
I scream out, halt!
There's nothing. No response.
Chase it down.
Okay. You go to chase it down, and Cookie, you hear screams from below decks. And Gant is nowhere to be seen, and there's blood washing all over the deck. You have no idea where the captain is.
I'm going to pick up the radio and yell, Mary! Mayday! Mayday! Anybody hear me?
And there's no response, just that static on the radio.
I'm going to fiddle with the knobs and try to look around to see if I see anything.
And there is nothing. And that's where we're going to end this scene. Da, da, da. And welcome to the Shed for Adventures from the Shed. You can find us online at adventuresfromtheshed.com, on iTunes, Facebook, Stitcher Radio, Google+, Bing. Yes, Kurt, you hear music. We're going to go around the table and say hi, starting with
JJ here. We are going to be playing some new game called Trail of Cthulhu.
Trail of Cthulhu today.
I'll be playing a gentleman by the name of Don Persing. He has a nickname of Slim. He is going to be a police detective and be attempting to unravel the mysteries of the multiple murders going on within New York.
And who's next?
Hi everyone, this is Mickie. I'll be playing Matilda Bly. She goes by the name of Tilly. Tilly is an archaeologist. She's in New York. She's got a short gig providing a lecture on 18th century American paintings. And
who's up next? Looks like Kurt.
It is. I'll be playing Michael O'Neill. He is the finest investigative journalist in the Northeast. Lives in Boston, but has friends and contacts all the way from Portland, Maine, down to New York City. And he is traveling to New York with his very good friend, his old college roommate from Harvard, Dr. Wellington, and they are going to see the presentation by Ms. Bly, the archaeologist.
Dr. Wellington, played by...
Hi everybody, this is Kevin. I'm actually playing, of course, Dr. Wellington. He's a surgeon of sorts, actually more like a forensic surgeon during this time. So we'll see what Dr. Wellington's got in store for us.
And then back to me, I'm Joe. I am, as JJ mentioned, I'm running the game Trail of Cthulhu. We're doing it as our Halloween 2016 special episode. And this game is actually going to be the adventure called The Wreck from the Arkham Detective Tales. The Trail of Cthulhu by Pelgrane Press uses the gumshoe system, so those who are familiar with that system might catch up on what we're doing easily. Others, just bear with us as we all learn the game while we're playing tonight. We are playing in New York City, and the setting is 1932 in New York, and we actually have some of the stuff from that period printed out. Who had that paper? But we have Franklin Roosevelt just became president
in a landslide.
1932 in a landslide. One of the things in pop culture at this time is the Buck Rogers radio show just debuted on the air this year. So radio is prevalent as a medium of entertainment. Anyway, go ahead and
the famed gangster Al Capone was just convicted of income tax evasion.
Yeah.
Finally going behind bars. And much of the nation is coming off, or is still, to some degree, in the aftermath of the Great Depression.
Yeah.
The banks collapsed in 1930. There's widespread unemployment, although there's signs of hope on the horizon.
And FDR is our president.
Yeah. And there are cars, so there are cars around. They're relatively common in the early 30s. No mobile phones, of course.
No mobile phones, but Jenny Craig has been born, so we will be beginning to lose weight soon.
Yes, Jenny Craig was born in 1932, as was Johnny Cash. And Tarzan the Ape Man was a movie released in theaters in 1932 as well. And as myself, I always think of the 30s, and actually anything before the 70s is just black and white. So the world is black and white. Everything will be shades of gray, as it were. More than 50.
And tuberculosis is widespread, and unfortunately, Doc, being in such close proximity to it all the time, has contracted it himself.
Ouch!
Kevin's been coughing tonight.
Yes,
so
I have been coughing.
And yes, our special guest Kevin is back with us this time. Unfortunately, it's probable that his character will die again.
Of tuberculosis.
Yeah, so he may be a red shirt again.
It's very possible that we will all die.
Yes, it is definitely possible. And what you all just heard and what we just played was the opening scene. It was a little flashback of what was happening on the ship. As the adventure begins, our characters are called in the very early hours of the morning. You're roused from your warm beds and called to the rain-drenched docks just about an hour ago. And this is by the New York Port Authority. And you arrive at the docks, and what I'd like to hear from each of you at this time is, what do your characters look like? What are we looking at as this group of 4 investigators arrives at the dock to meet the representative of the Port Authority?
So Don, also known as Slim, is anything but.
Of course.
He's may have been slim at one time during the initial war effort, but has since become slightly more portly. He's a little over 6 foot tall. He's broad-shouldered. He's more thick than slim, and he has a horseshoe hairdo that he tries to comb over every morning.
Nice.
It works a little bit, but and he's got those thick Coke bottle glasses.
Okay. What about Tilly?
Tilly is all of 5 foot nothing, short, dark hair, brown eyes. Kind of a little bit of a spitfire. She doesn't really spend very much time in any one place, but looking at her, you can tell that she's a bit flighty, and any sign of anything that would be permanent, she's out.
Okay.
So like Amelia Earhart kind of gal.
Yeah. Michael is probably the most nondescript of the characters. He wears a moderately priced suit and button-up shirt. Not particularly handsome, not particularly ugly. Dark hair. He's just a guy that you would probably see on the street and not really notice one way or the other.
So he never wears the fedora with the piece of paper sticking in it? Like
That says
a
press.
good journalist?
Exactly. He would wear a fedora, but I don't know that he would have his pad up in it.
No? All right. And
All
the
right.
doc.
And Dr. Wellington actually has an old childhood injury, so he walks around with a cane, and very nice, nicely dressed man. Hangs out at all the fine social clubs, such as the Manhattan Club, the universities such as NYU. He has close connections with people there, and I think you'll just have to wait and see the rest of them.
All right. So you guys arrive at the dock, and you're met by a representative of the Port Authority. We'll say that Don knows him, is Mike Zabuski. He's a fat man, and he's wearing a heavy oilskin rain jacket. And he has a mustache that you're sure would be impressively bushy if it weren't right now plastered down to his cheeks by the rain and wind.
Hey, Mike, what's going on here? What's the urgency?
Well, Don, the Coast Guard spotted a ship last night about out of control, and when the storm died down, a tug went out and brought the steamer in. It's called the Star of Mauritius. According to the crewmen on the tug, they boarded him. They boarded the ship, and and he turns towards the ship, just starting to come into view now with the tug. He crosses himself, and he says, "They found one man on the bridge. Everyone else, no sign." And the Star of Mauritius, which is now under control of one of the pilots from the New York Port Authority, is pushed into dock by one of the tugs. There's a spotlight trained on it, and as it goes by, where the spotlight hits one of the overhangs, you see right under the overhang this huge patch of blood on the side of the ship.
Don't see that every day.
And as the gangplank
I would
is
hope
lowered,
not.
as the gangplank is lowered, Zabuski points towards the lit bridge of the steamer and says, "It's you guys' turn."
Yeah, let's not disturb any evidence without training. And I'll go up the gangplank.
Okay.
Come, don't dawdle.
The four of us are there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, all four arrive. You were called as a group because this is unusual.
Tilly would be like, "Calm down, Donnie.
who actually
Don't
called
get your
us, by
panties
the
in a
way?
wad."
Between the police, the Coast Guard, and the Port Authority,
Oh,
they
okay.
found you guys were all in town and
Okay.
gave you a call and
Okay.
had you come out.
All right. Well, definitely try to look for clues. See where it is.
Okay, so large blood stains like the one you saw in the spotlight can be found all around the upper deck. Anywhere that is covered where the rain isn't hitting it, you can find large blood stains. Anyone with evidence collection, and in this theme, everyone has it. It suggests that these spatters, from the blood spatters, it suggests that the victims were cut with a large knife or blade and carried or dragged to the deck and thrown overboard. So the way the blood is spattered about and the way the trails are, evidence collection shows you that. Does anybody have outdoorsmen or scuffling and want to spend a point for another clue?
Scuffling? I'll spend a point.
Okay, with the point spend of scuffling, you realize that there was a single assailant carrying at least 3 of the missing bodies single-handed.
Simultaneously?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And there was 3 that were thrown overboard.
Well, that's what he found.
3.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, the way it is right now, there's only one person left on the ship, and we'll go right to the bridge in that case. You reach the bridge of the ship, and there is one member of the crew there, lashed to the wheel with his face in a rictus grin of terror.
Dude, what do you think happened to this guy?
If anybody has, it says medic. Is medic's an ability there, Doc?
No, there's medicine as an
Medicine,
academic ability.
Sorry,
Yeah,
medicine.
medicine? Yeah.
If you want to do a 1 point spend of
I
medicine,
would. I definitely would like to do that.
The apparent cause of death is a heart attack.
Oh, the man on the bridge is dead?
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't catch that.
Lashed to the wheel.
So just to be clear, when we're spending these points, we can't ever get these
You
back,
don't
right?
get these back during this adventure, no.
Okay.
So you, Kevin, need to mark off 1 medical point.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I was writing my notes.
Is there anything,
notes.
as the archaeologist, can I look around and see if there's any engravings or carvings or anything that would give me a clue as to what went on in this room?
In the bridge itself, there's nothing else of note other than that person, the crewman, lashed to the wheel.
The bindings look like they were done by an outside source, though. It doesn't look like he lashed himself to the wheel.
Pretty much, yeah.
Is he marked or cut, or is he just tied there?
Just tied there and
Died of a heart attack.
in a look of terror on his face.
Why they would have left, whoever did this, why they would have tied and left one crew member.
So looking around on deck as well, the deck is encrusted with filth and slime. If anybody wants to do a 2-point spend of evidence collection or sense trouble, you can.
I don't see that on the list.
Sense trouble is bottom right under
Yeah.
general abilities.
I'll do one.
So it's 2-point
It's 2
spend
points.
of sense trouble.
Okay.
You spot the glint of gold amid the mud. It's a small, squat, and ugly golden talisman the size of a coin.
Do I recognize it?
No.
It's a
Hey, look at this, Donnie.
What is it?
It looks like some sort of coin.
Pick it up.
It's just it looks like a small golden coin, but you can't really. It's not like you can see an imprint or anything
Okay,
on it.
it's
It's
just-
all
It's just a blank.
not completely blank. You just can't make out anything on it.
And
How big
I
is it?
don't recognize like the time period or where it's from or anything.
Regular size,
Yeah.
quarter.
Regular coin size
Right,
of whatever
coin
size. Yeah.
Is it possible for me
it's-
to put a piece of paper over it and draw on it and see if there's a some kind of relief that I can maybe clear up the picture a little bit?
We could try that
Under
later
rubbing?
Okay.
if it comes up. But now in the rain and everything, it's just too nasty to try something
Understood.
like that. And over near the lifeboat, you can see that at the lifeboat, a large hole has been punched out of the bottom of the lifeboat, probably using a sledgehammer or something like that. It looks like a hole in the bottom of the lifeboat.
So
And there's an
there is
opportunity
no
for a-
debris in the lifeboat.
No, it looks like it's punched right out of the
Okay.
bottom. There's an opportunity for a 1-point evidence collection spend here at the lifeboat.
I'll go ahead and do that.
Okay. You notice what looks like a fish scale caught on the edge of the hole.
It's one hell of a fish.
It's one hell of a fish. And the next place to check, I guess let's go downstairs. Well, hold on, before we do that, let's
What
go
was
to
the gold coin finally? Again?
The gold coin was found on deck amidst the muck and sand and stuff that was washed over the deck of the boat. In the office, so the office area. Office is actually a poorly used term for this room. It's just a nook where the ship's papers and logs are kept. Does anyone have bureaucracy or piloting?
I think the doctor might have 1 in bureaucracy.
I have 3 in bureaucracy.
Got
Okay.
0.
Oh, okay.
So as you have that, there's actually a little handout for this one. It might be a little tough to read, but I'll give it to you anyway. You find the ship's log.
All right. The log states that it arrived in Kingsport and gave the crew 24 hours of liberty at the port. They made good time and loaded the cargo in good time. Paid around 300 from Wilcox's account for the special. Not sure what that is yet. Secured special hold before embarking crew. Departed Kingsport late. Vagabond attempted to stow away. Storm blowing up from the southeast. Heavy seas. Lights.
What was the cargo?
The special hold. So let's find out where this special hold might be.
Sir.
There's
From Wilcox.
also a locked drawer in the office. Does anyone have locksmith or lockpicking? I can't remember what it is. Locksmith?
I think that I do. Hang on.
I have locksmith
I
as
do.
well.
Okay, anyone who has locksmith can pick this one. So it's a freebie.
Do you have it?
I have it as well.
Inside that drawer is a pistol.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
Probably typical for a
Unused,
ship.
Yeah.
fully loaded, unused.
I'll take the
So whatever happened here, they didn't even have enough time to grab their
A gun
pistol to defend
themselves.
themselves.
And you can see as part of the paperwork in the office, the ship is registered as being owned by Captain Gary Mulholland and is currently hired by Providence-based company Atlas Industries.
Atlas Industries.
Does
Okay.
that mean anything to any of us?
At this time, I believe the answer is no. You will be able to research that once we're off the boat. Let me just look at anything else that's above decks before we go downstairs. That should be it. Downstairs. Go ahead,
Did
Kevin.
we mention that the incident occurred prior to the boat coming ashore or being docked?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, the
just wanna be clear.
tug found it listing, or the Coast Guard.
The Coast Guard
found it listing out in the ocean.
Listing
Pretty
out
much
in the ocean.
actually going crazy. The boat itself was just unmanned, essentially.
Unmanned.
It was
Oh
running
yeah, they had a corpse lashed to the wheel.
There you go.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
She got the clues.
Yes, I got it.
So
Just
down,
want to be clear. We'll make
going
an assumption.
on the stairs down, you see, all of you can see this, there are scratch marks on the paint of the stairs, and it looks almost like as if somebody was trying to hold on and being pulled
Oh my god.
away. Scratch marks in the paint, like someone was scrabbling at the walls and
I'd like-
something dragged them away.
Oh
I'd
my
like
god.
I'd like to investigate the claw marks. How they look like fingernail claw marks. Or?
They look like regular human
Okay.
hands
Oh my
Just wanna
God.
be
made
clear.
this. Yeah.
Tilly crosses herself and
Yeah, I'm being very skeptical.
getting the heebie-jeebies here.
Can we tell it? Were they being dragged like going down or up? Can we tell from looking at it?
Yeah.
Up,
Up.
So they're being dragged upstairs.
out. Yeah.
Okay.
Which goes in line with them looking like they're being thrown overboard. with
Someone
the,
with
blood.
superhuman strength dragged three people at
people.
once.
As you're
Absolutely.
going down the stairs,
And then
the-
was able to depart the ship himself as well.
Well, we don't know they departed the ship.
That's
a good
correct.
point.
Keep a
That's
lookout,
correct.
Doc.
That's correct.
so as you go farther down into the ship, there are weird noises, almost like the ship is groaning and creaking as you're
I want to
walking.
make a note that I have my my revolver at the ready.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I have the one I just took from upstairs as well.
Why do you never have backup, Don?
You're my
Oh, I'll
backup.
back you guys up way back here.
No, I said why
you
don't
guys
you
first.
have backup?
And while you're going farther down, all of the exposed pipes and other machinery of the boat, they drip with seawater and slime. I look almost disturbingly like intestines of the ship are exposed
that's
for everyone to
disgusting.
see, and bloodstains can be found almost everywhere below deck. No rain to wash them away.
Gonna hug my coat a little
I
closer.
pull a handkerchief out of my pocket and I hand it to Tilly to cover her nose so she doesn't have to smell the.
Did we
Thanks, Don.
just want to be clear?
Yep.
We didn't cover the number of personnel on the ship, the dock listing, or anything of that sort.
That number is. Talk amongst yourselves for a moment.
But we wouldn't have we wouldn't know that unless we found it.
You would from the office. You would have seen the ship's roster, and
yeah.
it's part of research as well. But
Yeah.
1, 2,
So I was hoping for at least like there's usually a list of names.
8. There are 8 crew listed on
There's
the boat.
so there's one already accounted
including the
for.
captain. Including
Yes,
the captain.
8 total.
Okay.
One already accounted for on the wheel. 3 that you know were thrown overboard. So we're missing
Smeared
4.
across some walls.
So we're missing
And
4 people.
this vagabond may have been able to get back on because it says
was a vagabond.
attempted to stow away. Does not say that.
It may have actually kicked.
So
it
there may
before
have
he got
actually
on.
been 9 on the ship.
Yeah.
So we're
you-
looking for 4 to 5 people.
You find a storeroom that just has food and some other equipment. It just has a sturdy door, nothing else special about the room. You've already made it through the office. There's also, let's see, 3 other places you can check out. The engine room, the crew cabin, and cargo hold. Where do you want to head next?
Cargo hold.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see what they got.
The hold itself is packed with heavy industrial machinery, mostly pipes and pumps. It's all obviously used and old, and several sections are rusted through or coated with mud and barnacles. In other places, the gleam of bright metal shows where sections were recently sawn apart, like somebody pulled the pieces apart to get them into the boat. But the machinery right now lies scattered across the hold, having apparently come loose from its restraints during the storm.
Are there any manifests attached to the machinery?
There are not.
So
You're
the
going to
boat's
examine.
machine. Wait, so the boat's machinery, what makes it move, or
No,
whatever
it's
they were
cargo.
bringing?
You're in the
their
cargo
cargo.
hold, yeah.
Okay.
So what kind of can we make out what that is?
So you're going to investigate, examine the stuff.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
We can do like general evidence collection without spending points, right?
Correct. In this case, if you examine it, you see that as the doctor is examining all of this machinery, you see, kind of looking through some of the machinery, you can see farther back, a few feet back, a really narrow opening. You see another door, another bulkhead door back there that was clearly would have been concealed by the machinery before it broke loose from its restraints.
Hey, Slim,
Yeah.
He's going to send the fat guy in.
right through there. You see that?
And you can see that there is a gap, and you would have to crawl through if you were to do that with all this loose machinery banging around.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Probably I should do it since I'm smaller than you.
No. We can't
Yeah,
get
but
you
you
stuck.
can't. If something were to happen, I don't want to see you get hurt. So I'll go for it.
I'm not a little kid. Quit trying to protect me.
Slim,
Okay.
if you get stuck in there, buddy, no one's going to get you out of there, buddy.
We got people.
All right. And he,
Okay. So you're just
he
going to
shuffled
crawl.
Send the fat guy
Yep.
through.
we shuffled.
I'm not fat. So
Doc
much
shuffled-
as just thick.
That's right. Doc shuffles back with his cane.
So you're able to crawl through, and just as you're reaching that door, a freak wave slaps the side of the Star, the ship itself, and it sends the machinery sliding across the hold, and you are partially crushed under the machinery. You will take a d6 plus 2 of damage. I'll let you roll it.
Good lord.
Max damage.
Nice. So you take 8.
Slim, are you okay?
Good lord, that comes off his health?
Yeah.
No,
This
can you
is
explain that?
the only
Can you
spot.
Explain that.
Well, this is the only spot in the adventure, and the only spot I've really seen where you just take damage from something. And it's specifically that you didn't secure the cargo first.
Oh,
If you had
good job.
secured the cargo first, it wouldn't have happened. But it happened. So you crawl through.
So he took 8 damage.
Yeah, there's a freak
But he
wave.
has how much health?
Oh, yeah, he has,
So
I
the
think,
listener-
15 health total.
Okay.
It's still-
And as
so the
his health
listeners-
goes down, right.
Right.
I'd run to
It will
him.
affect him when he hits 0. And that's when you're hurt. He's not technically hurt yet, although it did hurt.
It probably winded me pretty
Yeah.
good.
Yes.
Knocked the wind out of me.
Slim, you
Um,
okay?
Yeah, it's
And you see, Don, as you reach the door, it is heavily scored as if someone had tried to hack through the steel with an axe, but it remains secure.
okay. From the outside here, then.
Yeah, and
All
it
right.
is definitely locked. You can't open it, and there's still stuff in front of it. You pretty much have to clear the space in order to get
I'll
into
clear
it.
out the space around it, and
Well, you're
I have my.
currently... Everyone's going to have to chip in because you're currently crushed by the machinery.
Yeah,
I
we gotta
can't
get
push
around.
it back away.
Everyone has to pitch in, but we'll do that.
Okay.
Now, the way this is going to work is to get into this door will require a 2-point locksmith spend, or you get the docks workers to come in and cut it open with a torch.
Torch time?
Does anybody have 2 points?
I
of
mean, I have 2,
locksmith
but I
spend?
hate to use my only locksmith
Exactly.
points now if we can get the
I
dock
suggest
members to do it.
I suggest
Yeah.
we get the people to come in and help us.
So at that point, you will leave the boat for a short time while you wait for that. Is there any of the information you have so far that you want to investigate while you wait for
Wasn't-
them to cut?
I'd
Was
like
there
to
still
give-
some other rooms we could check?
There was still
Cruise
the
quarters.
crew cabin
Yeah,
and
let's do that.
the engine room.
Let's do
Can
that
we
while they're
spend
working
some
on it.
first aid to help Doc, or to help Slim?
Yeah.
Oh, we can?
Yeah, you definitely can.
Okay. Hey, let me take a look at you there, big guy.
All right.
So each point of first aid that you spend gives him 2 health back. And remember, it's spent and gone.
Okay. I will spend 2 points.
Okay, so that will give
All
him
right.
4.
For the listeners, I have 10 first aid.
All right. Does anyone have mechanical repair? We'll go to the engine room first.
No.
No mechanical repair? Okay. Even though the ship is currently off, it's not running, the steamer's not going, it doesn't look like there's anything broken in the room. So nothing else other than some blood spattered about here and there in the engine room. Nothing else there. And the crew cabin. So when you reach the crew cabin, you see there are 4 cramped bunks lining the wall. So these are for the 8 crew members, right? Was it 8?
Yes,
Yeah.
they're right. Yep.
Personal effects are in lockers or strewn about the floor. With evidence collection, you can spot a diary in one of the lockers. The diary is from Horace Quint, a young man who apparently, by the diary, it looks like he ran away from his home in Boston, And it records his experiences. And I'll read a little bit of that to you in his last notes. The crew were dropped off at Kingport for a day. The ship then left the harbor and headed north before collecting us the following morning. As we were loading the ship at Kingsport, there was a man hiding in the lifeboat under a canvas cover. He attempted to fight back, but we threw him overboard at the pier after giving him a solid thrashing. In the diary, Quint also notes that one of the other crew, Boris, was going to show me a good time at a good boarding house called Roberts in the Red Hook area once we get back into New York City.
Oh, Roberts?
Roberts Boarding House, yes. So that's part of Horace Quint's diary. Not sure why that's difficult for me to say, but there we are.
All right.
So now we'll say the time that you spent checking out the engine room and the crew cabin lets us get into the sealed hold. So the dock workers finished cutting enough of the door and have moved the equipment. You reach there, and the sealed hold contains yet more machinery, apparently identical to the junk in the main hold. However, when you enter, you feel a strange prickly sensation, almost like there's static electricity in the air, and there's an occasional spark of static off of some of the equipment in the room as well. Searching the room, you find a length of pipe sealed at both ends, which rattles when you shake it.
Is there anything carved on the outside of the pipe?
No. And when I say pipe, it's kind of a big pipe, like it could hold something about 6-8 inches or so.
How is it sealed on the ends?
It just has the twist ends on both ends of the pipe, but it's closed. There's something in it.
What do we think?
Why would we not
the
open it?
What do we think is the static electricity? Do we have a chance to check on that, or see what we think is causing the static electricity?
There is no obvious answer to that question. There's a static in the air. There's something odd in this room, which is why you guys are called out to these type of things.
Wow, interesting.
I would like to remove this and open it somewhere safer.
Yeah, agreed.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Remove it from the boat?
Yeah.
Okay.
So where are you going to bring it? So now we're going to get off the boat and head towards...
Police station?
Where's the safest? Like, no, the police station, it's heavily occupied by a lot of people. If this thing was causing the static electricity in that room, and it's going to be some kind of electrical discharge, I don't want to open it. What if this is some kind of advanced battery we'd never seen before?
We could take it to the museum, try to examine it using the equipment there before we open it.
All right.
Yeah.
What do you think, Doc?
Yeah.
I think that's a good idea. I'm also thinking the gold coin. I'm trying to find out what that correlation might be. We got a gold coin.
The museum would be a good place to examine the gold coin as well. It's in my pocket.
Okay.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Is that a coin in your pocket?
We've got the fish scale as well.
When you get to the
Yes.
museum, you find a room where you can privately open up the pipe. Who is going to be the one to do it?
Hold on 1 second.
Yeah.
We did take the scale with us. Okay, just want to be clear.
I've got it.
I'd be like the most curious. I'd want to know what's in there.
Okay. All right.
Seeking my adventurer drive.
When you open it, there is an object in there. It's about the size of a human infant and made from greenish stone that is oily to the touch. From certain angles, it looks like an elephant's head. From others, a calcified sea sponge. There are flecks of gold embedded in its rough surface, and it's unusually heavy. And as Tilly grabs it, there is a flash as she experiences a vision. You find yourself in the body of a child in a medieval fishing village. The Mediterranean shimmers in the hot sun. Jagged black rocks, curiously twisted, surround the little cove. A wave has just washed up something covered in seaweed and grime, but through the filth you see something glitter with gold. Time is fluid in this dream, and suddenly you find yourself several months have passed. The artifact has been discovered by villagers and taken to the church. An epidemic of religious mania seizes the village, and many believe the apocalypse is at hand. Villagers have visions of strange vistas and wild oceans. Later, wild weather and high seas have cut the little village off from the rest of Spain. The hallucinations have grown worse, and many of the villagers are now insane. Bodies hang from the rafters, victims of suicide or murder. Strange symbols and shapes have been carved into the stone buildings, and certain alleyways in the town are now always in shadow, even in the noonday sun. The fishing boats rot the beach, yet the market stalls overflow with curiously bloated fish. You see villagers throwing strangely carved stones into the water. A priest in ornate robes and a golden tiara holds the artifact aloft, chanting words of power to it, and the vision ends as underwater shapes approach the shore.
Oh shit!
Until he snaps back.
What was that?
What was what?
What was what?
You guys didn't see that?
See what?
See what? You holding the thing?
No, I was in a village, and at first everything was fine, but then these religious fanatics just went insane.
How long did that
Next
take
thing we know-
in real time?
Moments.
Like
She took a
3
few
seconds,
moments
2
looking
seconds?
at this thing, and maybe she looked like she was in a trance or something for a
About-
few moments, and that's it.
Seconds?
I mutter
Yeah.
under my breath.
3 seconds or
Women
less?
in their
Yeah.
flights of fancy.
Okay.
That priest, I'm not flighty, Don.
No.
It seems so real.
I kind of touch her arm or something to that effect.
Okay.
Feel her pulse or something, doing a doc thing, if you will. Like, yeah, her pulse is faster. So she must be experiencing something. I can't
Now,
tell.
at this point, Tilly, you need to make a stability test.
Oh,
So now
dear.
here's where, this is our first one. Before you do that, you didn't roll yet. Here's where you need to decide. I won't tell you the difficulty, but you need to decide if you're going to add any points to it from your stability before you roll.
Yes.
If you are successful, you will only lose the points you spend. If you are not successful, you lose whatever the loss actually is in the adventure.
I'm going to spend 1 stability point
Okay.
to try to bolster this
All right. So
roll.
you're going to lose 1 stability regardless. Let's see if you lose any more.
How many did you have, Mickie?
4 plus 1 is 5.
You were successful.
Woohoo!
Just so you know, the difficulty was 4, and the loss would have been 3 points. So you only lose 1 instead of 3.
Awesome.
So that represents some type of shock to your
Yes.
system.
You're definitely shaken by the experience.
Would
So you're still holding the
I'm
artifact.
still holding
at this
the artifact. At this point, I'm going to kind of take it over to some what are those things called that make things bigger?
Microscope.
No, this is
Magnifying glass.
Thank you, magnifying
Yeah.
glass. Wow.
Microscope is just more of those in succession.
Well, in 1932, they wouldn't have had
Yeah.
that in a museum.
Yeah, they would have.
It could have. It might have looked more like several magnifying glasses
Yeah.
in a row than a microscope.
So
but
she's
yeah.
going to take it under the magnifying glass and try to put it under different lights to figure out and see it in more detail to see if there's anything more to this artifact.
There is nothing more than what you've seen so far.
Okay, so she's going to try to then. You see her take out a notebook and start sketching. She's going to start sketching the face of that priest that she saw in her vision and all that stuff.
So
I wonder if one of us...
let me throw a couple of things, because I actually misspoke there a little. There is a spot for actually investigating the artifact. Let me look for any of the free stuff first. Anthropology. Does anyone have anthropology?
Why doesn't the archaeologist
just
have
have
anthropology?
You just don't, I guess.
I have archaeology, but not
Yeah.
anthropology.
she has a lot history.
Let's throw it in there anyway, because it's a free clue. Anthropology reveals that while the artifact is not the product of any known culture, it's reminiscent of islanders from the Pacific. And also, these are all spends. Astronomy or physics, a 1-point spend is also possible. History or occult is a 3-point spend.
Good golly.
Or a that's a further 1-point spend. So 3 points for history or occult. This is something that you guys just haven't seen before unless you really go after it. And then chemistry is also an option.
I don't
What's
think
this-
we're going to have enough to do any of those.
No.
What's the
Any of the
expenditure for
above.
chemistry?
Actually, it's not a spend. Do you have chemistry?
I have chemistry.
Okay. It's primarily composed, so this would be looking under the microscope. The doctor steps in. It's primarily composed of some sort of soapstone, but includes several unidentifiable elements. It's apparently indestructible, or at least very, very hard.
And it's how big are we talking?
The size of an infant. Let's say it's maybe 9-10 inches long. Let's say a newborn, whatever. I think they're longer than that, but either way, we're going to say it's that size.
Is there any kind of test we could do to see the static electricity issue we were coming up with earlier?
It itself doesn't have any static electricity.
Okay, it itself has no...
No.
So we're experiencing no static electricity here.
However,
than we were in the ship.
When you, the doctor, step up to touch it and examine it, you also experience a vision.
I was just going to ask. I wonder if one of us touches it, if we'll get a different vision.
Yeah, so, Doctor, you glimpse a dark cavern underground. Pipes run along the ceiling, and you can hear voices and gunshots echo down the tunnels. There are priests here, and one of them is holding this artifact in his hands. He waddles down the tunnel with some difficulty, his limbs having adapted themselves for swimming, not running. It's odd. He whispers words under his breath to the artifact as he cradles it like a child. Men, strangers, emerge out of the darkness. They flash torches at him and aim their guns. They are invaders, trespassers defiling this sacred place. One of them raises his gun to fire at the priest, and then something comes shrieking out of a side tunnel. A flowing mass of ghastly spears and pseudopods make a stability test. Decide if you're going to spend before you roll.
I will spend 1 as well.
1 point, okay.
Actually, I'm going to spend 2.
2 points, okay.
I rolled a 7.
All right, so you made it, and you lose just the 2 points that you spent.
Wow. He kind of shakes his head, like to shake it off, like what he just saw.
Yep.
And he describes to you guys pretty much what he just indicated. There's some kind of priest who had this object, and it's almost like some kind of sea creature, sea being of sorts. And he was fleeing, if I got that right.
He was being attacked by invaders shooting guns at him.
Right. Yeah, he was fleeing away from the attackers.
Yep.
Okay. So and so why do I think somebody has stolen this artifact from this creature, and it maybe was coming back to exact revenge as well as to get its artifact back?
Can Tilly show...
By the way, this creature is definitely a sea being of sorts, from what I saw.
Now Don's just annoyed. He's going to stash the thing, because
So Dawn's going to grab it?
everyone's like having these visions, and that doesn't happen. So
Can Tilly show Doc the drawing of the priest? Do you recognize it when you see the
what?
The priest
drawing
that she saw.
that I was
Was
working
it a similar priest?
she
Remember I
stated
said
earlier
I
she was going to draw the
I
people
missed
from her
that.
vision.
Okay, so you're going to start to sketch that.
I sketched
You're still sketching that then when Dawn grabs it. And Dawn...
Don, wait. And then Don's already grabbing it,
Yeah.
doing his thing.
Don grabs it, and he experiences his own vision.
Well, by the way, does it appear? Do we appear strained or something? Like when this happens to us, like
You tell me, what does the doctor look like when he experiences that vision?
he looks completely weirded out. I
There you
mean,
go.
absolutely. But I think what I'm saying is, is it drawing upon something within us that would make us feel like
Your
I need to go
stability.
sit down. You know, I can't move anymore. I'm kind of completely debilitated.
No.
There's stability.
No. Okay, so you're not
No.
debilitated in any sense.
In game mechanics, you suffer no ill effects.
Okay.
This gradually builds up where a mechanic will kick in.
So in that sense,
But for now, you just experienced that.
So in
And
that
it still
sense, I
shook
say,
you.
sure,
Yeah.
Don, touch it. Maybe you'll see something.
So, Don, you find yourself in what feels like the body and looks like the body of a medieval monk in a monastery scriptorium in Spain. Based on what Tilly described, it might be about 100 years after her vision in Spain. You have the artifact swaddled in a blanket, and whenever anyone passes by, you hastily cover the twisted icon. You reach out and caress the artifact, and it's though you're suddenly plunged into icy waters and darkness boils up all around you as strange memories pour from the artifact into your mind. Don himself feels sickened, as if something terrible has just brushed past his mind. And as the vision fades, the monk begins to write a description of the artifact of what the artifact showed him, Cthulhu. And you snap back and make a stability check.
So wait, you're saying I had a vision inside my vision?
You were sickened by the vision you saw and had a vision inside of the vision. Yes.
Wow.
You had
What is that,
Cthulhu
four-
Inception.
Four walls?
Now
That's
remember,
4 walls right
are you going to
there.
have a spend?
I will spend 2.
Okay. Let's see what you get.
That gives me a 7.
Okay, so you are successful. You
Copycat.
just lose the 2.
How much would he have lost if he hadn't spent it?
3.
And what was the win?
Oh, that's right.
What do you have to
He
roll?
had to get a 4.
So you didn't need to spend any.
Well, he didn't, but you don't know that until after.
Exactly.
All right. You take
I don't
that
even know what you guys are
chance.
talking about. He, throws it back on the table.
So when is O'Neill stepping up to the
I was gonna
plate?
say, I feel a little left out here. As a journalist, I guess I've got to take my chance as well.
Yeah? Okay, so
I have a feeling I'm going to roll a 1, but that's all right.
as Michael O'Neill grabs or touches the artifact, your vision is substantially shorter, but it is of tremendous basalt cities, of sky-flung towers, of nighted labyrinths, of strangely shaped stones draped with weeds and vile growths, and something moving. Make a stability check.
I'll add 1
Okay. What you get?
and roll a 2.
That's 3, which fails. You will lose 3 stability from that.
Plus the one I used, or total?
Yes. You also lose the one
So I
that you
lose
So
spent.
it's
4.
4 total?
Yeah.
Oh, that blows.
Yeah.
That vision didn't seem that terrifying for 3.
Well,
But you use a weak of fortitude, that's all.
just as a slight spoiler, because everybody gets a vision only once, the reason maybe it was more terrifying to you is you just shared the dreams of Cthulhu himself. So that would be why it was more terrifying, I guess. Yeah. Now you
Of course,
have
I don't
the
know
artifact.
we don't know who Cthulhu is at this point, right?
No, you don't.
Okay.
You have the artifact. You have some other clues. What are you looking into next?
I want to. We're here at the museum, so let's see if we can find somebody who can identify this fish scale. Like what
we also have
creature did it come from?
Also have the
And,
gold coin.
The gold coin. So, is there anyone that's an anthropologist that could identify the make or what era this coin came from?
The make and model?
The make and model of the
Tilly.
coin.
What,
In
what
the
year?
air.
Where it was minted? Why it was minted? For what purpose?
Is there a library at the museum at all, or
At least nearby, yeah. If not in the museum, it's probably
Down
the
the
next door
street.
down in the square, yeah.
because at some point I'm going to want to search and see if I can find something in a history book or in our
Okay.
anthropology book about this artifact.
Nobody can give you a time period or anything where the coin comes from, but it is gold and it's worth whatever its weight in gold is. It doesn't have any distinguishable markings that allow anyone to link it to a time period or a dynasty or an empire or any of that thing, any government of any type.
It seems like given what we had to spend to find the gold coin, it should be of some significance. There have been gold flecks mixed in with the slime and the seaweed that we have found, but maybe it'll serve a purpose later.
Hold on to it.
For one more day.
Hold on for one more day.
As far as the artifact goes, if you aren't spending anything else, you find out nothing else about the artifact. You would have to spend a history or occult to find out more.
I have neither of those to spend.
It's not high enough to spend it.
And that's fine. So that just means you can't draw on enough resources to actually give you that information. So you still have, let me just throw out the clues that are worth following. I'm not sure how much everyone wrote down, but the Atlas Industries is worth following. The boarding house is worth following. Asking anybody else about what happened. For example, it was mentioned that the Coast Guard was there and a tugboat crew were both there on the ship before you guys.
As
So
a
those are
journalist, would
some
you go
of your
back and
bits.
do that?
Yeah, absolutely. I would. I mean, I had marked down to check out the boarding house for sure, and also Atlas Industries.
I was actually going to look into Gary Mulholland.
Okay.
The owner.
So checking out, let's start with that one. Check out the crew of the Star of Mauritius. We'll say that down at the police station, you're able to get some information, but you will need to use your. Actually, I guess it would either be a point of cop talk or streetwise, and I'll give you all of the information on them.
I pointed streetwise.
Okay.
Well, the only thing I would say there, Streetwise, is for dealing with generally with kind of criminals or shady characters.
Mm-hmm.
So
Cop-ToC.
I'd save Streetwise if you don't have much of it and use Cop-ToC, but if you have a lot of Streetwise, then either one is fine.
And everybody actually gets a point of Cop-ToC if you didn't already have it for this setting that we're playing in. So everyone does have that, and that might be worthwhile to spend there.
Yeah, I'll use my Cop-ToC to talk to my buddies.
Little metagaming there.
With that, you dig up some official records, and you can get this, we'll say, through between the Port Authority and the police station. Captain Gary Mulholland, age 51, resident of Baltimore. He's the owner and operator of the Star. He purchased the ship in the South Pacific in 1919 and changed the registry from Singapore, to Baltimore in 1926. And when you're asking around the docks, the Port Authority specifically, you get the rumor that Mulholland was a whiskey smuggler during Prohibition and has ties to organized crime.
Do we know which family?
No, and it's irrelevant to the story.
Okay.
Also on the boat, Paul Jones. You were Jones in the previous thing. He was the ship's engineer, formerly U.S. Navy, dishonorably discharged for striking a superior officer. Michael Gant, age 40, resident of New York. He's a Polish sailor. Nothing else. I guess when you're a Polish sailor, nothing else needs to be said.
That's awful.
Boris, no age, no address. Who has languages?
The doc's got Latin.
Someone's got. But I think someone had
Language.
languages too.
I have languages too.
So I'm just going to say that you also have a smattering of Russian, perhaps. And in hearing about at the docks, there's also rumors and people saying that Boris stayed at Robert's boarding house when he was in New York. So the other Russians at the dock.
Yeah, which we kind of know.
Yep. Frenchie, Elaine Frenchie Dane, age 30s, French, no details. Cookie Hayes, age 50, resident of Baltimore, an old associate of Mulholland, ran in the same circles. Horace Quint, age 22, resident of Boston. He's being sought by his family in Boston. He ran away to sea at age 17. And lastly, Albert Spitzer, age 21, resident of New York, Polish sailor. Also, just Polish sailor. Nice. And it was Cookie Hayes who was the one who was lashed to the wheel. The only person who seemed to have survived whatever happened to the boat to die of a heart attack after.
And who was it that was the family was seeking him?
Horace Quint,
Horace
the one
Quint.
who had
That was
the
his
diary.
We got the diary.
If we've perused a diary, I'd like to send a diary to the family with the post.
Okay, yep. We could do that,
Well,
definitely.
and we've established another South Pacific connection
Yes.
because the ship was originally purchased in the South Pacific, and we know something that the artifact seems to be related to a South Pacific
Definitely
culture.
has its origins there.
Interesting.
And so that's the information you gather looking up the captain and the other crew of the Star of Mauritius. Where do we want to investigate next?
Do you guys want to go to Atlas or do you want to go to the boarding house?
While I'm still investigating this,
Yep.
I want to look into the ledgers
Yeah.
a little bit more deeply because they paid $300 from the Wilcox account
Okay.
for the special.
Okay.
I'm assuming since this was in this artifact was in the special hold that this is the special. So the captain paid $300 from the
was paid
Wilcox. Huh?
Wilcox paid him $300.
Yeah.
He was paid by Wilcox
he was
to
paid by
carry it.
Wilcox.
As you are there looking these things up, it kind of links to what Tilly wanted to check next. You find out that Mr. Wilcox, I got to look up his full last name here. Henry Wilcox is the owner of Atlas Industries.
Okay.
Okay. So do you want to
But does-
contact Atlas Industries?
Atlas Industries also owns the boat, doesn't it?
They hired the boat.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
they
hired
hired
the
the
boat.
boat.
They chartered it for the mission it was on
Yeah,
at the time.
to get
that
the special
it happened.
item,
Yeah.
basically.
So the boat was carrying the item at
It was.
Henry Wilcox, also known as Atlas Industries' request.
Yep.
Yes. So I can-
Got that. All right. So you want to check out Atlas Industries?
Yes.
Sure.
Yes?
Absolutely.
Okay. Where are you keeping the artifact while you go about your business?
Yeah, that's a good
At the
question,
museum?
guys.
I
Leave it
have
at
a
the museum?
knapsack that I carry.
Knowing what it did to you guys, you would just leave it?
No, you wouldn't want to touch it.
Yeah, behind a glass case. It's locked. I'm not going to leave it out on somebody's desk.
We need to
There
make
will-
sure that
there will be
nobody
other
knows where this
curious
item
people.
is.
That museum's crawling with curious people.
I was going to say, I think it needs to be in an area where no one would have easy access to it.
Why would we not keep it with us?
Yeah, I'm going to keep my knapsack.
All right. You carry it then.
Yeah.
As long as we're not touching it, it doesn't seem to be having an effect on us, right?
For the most part. I mean, you still get that feeling around it that something ain't right.
There's one other problem, though. If the others was carrying this item, they also were attacked by something. We think obviously this creature that we all saw, a few of us saw visions of. If we're walking around with this actual artifact, we're a target.
Ergo,
we're on
leave it at the
land.
museum.
Say again?
We're on land. Every single one of these visions had to deal with the sea of some sort.
Do you really want to take that chance, Slim?
Yeah.
Okay. You're right. You would take that chance, Slim. I'm not good at running. You know this bum leg I got? It's not going to work for me. I'm also older than you, Slim. So, I can't run that fast. I don't want to be around when this thing comes back.
You people and your flights of fancy.
Really?
But if we leave it at the museum, then people who have no idea what it is, they may be attacked or it may create danger there.
That's right. That's what I didn't say the museum. I said a place of some sort of security. I don't know what would be a great place for that. I figured let's brainstorm.
I'll leave it at the precinct.
Precinct?
Evidence lockup?
Put it in evidence lockup.
You trust that?
Yeah.
It's the only options we have, unless you have somewhere else.
Why not on the
Doc?
boat? Why not put it back on the boat?
No, because that's going to be crawling with the Coast Guard.
I doubt this thing will come back probably where there were a lot of people, because it probably doesn't want to be seen in just the way it did its attack and then left.
I've commissioned the Coast Guard to look for the bladed weapon that struck down the other sailors. So they are combing that boat like no one's business. Man, that tuberculosis got you good.
Yes, it's
Lord.
Cthulhu.
I'm getting sick from touching that damn thing. But no, say again, Don, I'm sorry. I had a sneezing spit there.
He's got the Coast Guard looking all over the boat for the weapon.
Oh.
That killed
blade.
The blade.
Oh, the knife. I know what you're talking about.
So,
all right, so
just
are we
so
leaving?
you know, the Coast Guard is unwilling to go below decks on the boat. This is your jurisdiction now. They want no part of it.
So are we leaving it at the precinct, or are we taking it with us?
Evidence lockup.
All right.
All right.
Since Doc here is a little afraid here.
So I was saying Atlas, but I just want to make clear we do have two options right now: checking out Atlas Industries or checking out crews of the other vessels, the tugboat or the Coast Guard.
Or the boarding house.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yes, the boarding house as well. Yeah.
Ooh,
So
yeah.
two others.
Do you guys want to
Three
go
total.
Atlas?
Let's do Atlas first.
So do Atlas first. So be it.
Before we go, are we at the museum still right now?
Right now, you would be probably leaving the police precinct.
Leaving the
Police
precinct.
precinct. Sorry.
in
Because at some
order
point we
to-
should have checked out, or we should try to check out the fish scale as well and see if
Exactly.
we can
That was
identify what
that was
is.
kind of the other
I
thing.
mentioned it in the thing. He said there was nothing there.
No, there's no. They can't tie it to any species or anything like that.
So there's nothing distinct?
Nothing known. Right.
Okay.
It's kind of an unknown.
I would put the artifact back in that copper pipe it was
the
in.
pipe. They just say pipe. So
Okay.
we'll say copper.
Just to be
that's
clear,
Yeah.
there was no other scale or any marine life that we could. I mean, this obviously looked unique. The
that-
fish scale idea.
Yeah, the fish
So,
scale
just want to be
itself
clear.
was very specific.
Okay.
And
All
it
right.
was in one spot.
And how big maybe was the fish scale? Can we say?
Let's just say it was an inch or so, maybe. Not huge, not tiny.
Okay.
Big enough to be from a large fish.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, given you guys' flights of fancy, you probably think it's gold coins from Atlantis or something.
You don't know that, Slim.
So, how many things do you touch and then have strange visions about?
Everything I touch can be explained in some way.
You would think that way.
Well, we want to explain
All right,
this.
guys, let's
figure
get
it out.
going.
All right, we're going to head over to check out the offices of Atlas Industries in New York. Before we do that, we're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back.
Bye, everyone.
Bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Here are some gaming notes for you. Kurt and Joe created the characters ahead of time using Pelgrane's online character manager and creator called Blackbook. Kurt wrote a bunch of great history and connections for each character, and you can hear some of that come to light as our players bring life into these characters. Now, back to the episode.
Hi, welcome back to Adventures from the Shed. We're continuing our Trail of Cthulhu game here for our Halloween 2016 special with...
JJ here. I'll be playing Dawn Slim Persing.
And
Hi, everyone. This is Mickie. I played Tilly Bly.
And next we'll have Kevin.
Hey everybody, this is Kevin. I'll be playing our Doc Wellington.
And
Hey, this is Kurt. I am playing the investigative journalist Michael O'Neill.
And I am Joe. I am the keeper for this Trail of Cthulhu session. We're getting right back into our game, where our characters were trying to contact Atlas Industries. And just as a note for Kevin, the top of the microphone pack has a mute button you can tap if you want to hack your lungs out in between. You're welcome.
Forgot about that whole mute thing. Appreciate
Well, no,
that.
tuberculosis plays into the character.
Yes,
It does.
I'm still playing my
He's
character.
method acting.
Exactly.
So I believe it was our police detective, Don, who has bureaucracy. And as part of looking into Atlas Industries, he found it is a small, privately owned company belonging to the Wilcox family of Providence, Rhode Island. And they have an office in New York. If anybody wants to do a 2-point spend of bureaucracy or credit rating, there is more information about the company you can get before you start.
Credit rating.
I don't have any of
It's
that.
worth spending the credit rating here because there are very few other chances to do it, and everybody has a decent credit rating in the game.
Not the
Well,
archaeologist.
you have 3, right?
No, 0.
Oh, you should
Or you
have,
should have 3.
You
Everyone
have
has
3.
3.
It's
You have
blank.
3.
That's a mistake.
Okay.
That
That's a
would be-
mistake.
yeah.
So everyone
Credit
has
rating is your general level of
Yeah.
wealth, and we all have at least 3.
Yeah,
Okay.
you have either 3 or 4, and
I'll
I
spend
think the
mine.
archaeologist had 3 and everyone else had 4. I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we'll spend that. And as part of that, you find
You
that
spent it?
I spent it.
Okay.
you learn that the company also has a private island off the coast of New York that they purchased in 1930.
Ooh.
And now anybody could spend a 1-point library use or art history, if they like, for any more information.
Art history and what now?
Either library
Library.
use or art history for another bit of info.
I'll spend 1 library use.
Okay. You find a curious newspaper clipping from 1929. The former owner of Atlas Industries, Jeremiah Wilcox, died and left the company to his nephew, Henry Wilcox. Young Henry was a student of art and notorious figure in the Providence art scene, known for his bizarre and quite outre carvings and sculptures. Many worried that putting such a dreamer in charge of the engineering company would lead to bankruptcy and disaster, but Henry apparently rose to the challenge, and the company has survived the turmoil of the last few years. Wilcox purchased an estate on Fire Island and built a summer house there.
Sorry.
That's the name of it, Fire Island, yes.
So
And it's a real island off
It
the coast
is,
of New
but
York.
it's famous for something else.
It is, yeah. And that's actually something that could happen, not in this adventure, but as part of this setting.
now the private.
And one more opportunity for art history spend. Actually, you know what? Because of the connection we made, I'm just going to let this one happen. Tilly, as looking up this stuff, learns that one of Henry Wilcox's bas-reliefs is on show at an avant-garde gallery in Greenwich, the one that you are part of.
Hey!
Your contact here. It depicts a strange city of many angled buildings and impossible tombs and some hold on, and that's it. So the gallery is another place that you could go to check out his artwork.
I think you
Sounds like my vision.
I think you said something about there was a private island that belonged to the.
The company
Fire
bought-
Island.
with the company Atlas Industries bought the island, and
Fire
Henry
Island.
Wilcox bought a mansion on the island.
Okay,
So the island that was purchased in 1930 is Fire Island?
that's what I was
Yes.
asking.
Yes.
There we go.
Okay.
All right.
That was not totally clear.
They're all.
Yeah,
they're
that
all-
wasn't
that's
clear.
because they're part of separate clues. Technically, you guys are supposed to put those
Figured out.
together.
Yeah, yeah.
But yes.
Yeah, yeah. That's what I
As
was
we
thinking.
just
That's
did.
what we just
Chuck.
did.
God, we're
Word.
good investigators.
Come on.
Okay. So you have learned a little of the information about Atlas Industries. You also have now learned about he has a piece of art in the gallery, and you can go to the Atlas Industries office, the art gallery, the boarding house, whatever you'd like to do next.
Love to go to the boarding
Boarding
house.
house, yeah.
Yeah, I think we should close that loop. With
Find
the-
out what's up with Boris and Horace. Right?
Horace and Horace.
Horace.
That was his name, Horace
Horace
Quint.
Quint, right?
Yeah.
Boris Boris and Horace. Boris was at the boarding house, and he was going to show a good time for Horace.
Says
Yeah,
you.
or to Horace. We don't know.
Oh, yeah.
On Fire Island.
I mean, we don't... what kind of boarding house?
What part
Okay.
of do we know where this is? Is it nearby?
It's near the waterfront. They actually tell you it's on Court Street in the Red Hook district. So the boarding house is a flop house near the waterfront on Court Street in the Red Hook district. Rooms can be rented for 20 cents a night or by the hour.
My goodness.
Yeah.
Gotta love that.
So you arrive, and the owner is a toothless old hag standing at the front desk.
Of course she is.
Yes.
Sounds like it might be time to use some flattery points.
I'll tell you, the only option they give here is intimidation, 1 point spend.
That's hilarious. Wow.
I've got flattery or
She will
interrogation.
not be flattered.
Yeah. It's just like, no way.
Yeah.
No way you'd be interested in me, right?
Toothless old hag. What do you want? You need a room.
You know Boris? Why do you sound like a Muppet?
Why not?
Do you know Boris?
Muppets are usually toothless.
No, they're right. That's true.
She will only offer you a room and no other information, unless somebody wants to do a 1 point intimidation spend.
I don't have any
Well, and
intimidation.
we have plenty of money. We can spend 20 cents for a room, or
Okay.
actually, we should just rent one by the hour, and then that would get us upstairs. And we
So
can
then
try to
let's
find
use
horses.
it as a 2 point credit rating.
2 points?
2 points.
Wow.
to get
I'm
a
saying
room.
it because there's really no other spots in here to use it, so we're just going to use up a
I
resource
don't have
for
two,
kicks.
so
I could.
Okay.
Okay.
Doc
Why don't you?
puts the money
Just
down.
You just spent 2, and you had 3.
Doc puts the money on the table.
Okay.
All 20 cents. No, it's shook.
So she points upstairs, jabbering something, and dropping 4 golden coins on the table. The coins are solid gold, but so worn that it's impossible to tell where they came from.
Do they match the coins that are in your pocket, Slim?
They do kind of look like that.
Can we look closely
So
at them and to
Boris
kinda-
was here, so it kind of makes sense that he would have a coin.
So essentially,
this
she's
place.
mumbling that, yeah, they were upstairs, this is what they paid with, you can go check the place out. She knows he's a cop, I mean, that part's obvious.
Yeah.
Let's go check it out then.
Let's do it.
yeah, absolutely.
All right, so the rooms are filthy and crammed with rotting furniture. You pass a couple on your way. There's plaster dust and water stains on everything. And as you approach the door that she points to, or that she told you to go to, it is closed and locked.
Kick it down, Slim.
Stick a coin
Or
in the
you
slot
try to
and
open
turn
it.
the door.
Yeah, he picks it, basically.
Who has lockpick? Locksmith, sorry. Anyone with locksmith can just pick it.
As do
no
I.
spend,
Yeah,
no
I-
spend, but
I-
you can
I
pick
can do
the
it.
lock.
Okay.
Okay. So you pick the lock, and
Yep.
inside... Go ahead.
I was just going to say, if there's anything we hear, then obviously we would take that into account.
Yeah.
Past
You
the
don't
door.
hear anything on the other side
That's
of
all.
the door,
That's all I
right?
wanted to say.
Okay. So inside, you see that notable features of the room. It's a small room. There's a bath. It's filled to the brim with what is clearly ocean water, and also wrapped in an oilcloth to the side is a large handful of the same gold coins, a curious chunk of soapstone inscribed with some strange runes, and the rest of the room itself is just kind of downtrodden and nasty, and there is something or someone standing in the corner.
Oi, you there.
And when the thing turns to you, give me a second here, I had the wrong sheet in front of me.
Come on, gatekeeper.
Yeah, I'm sorry. just keeper.
Oh.
Keeper, I hardly
So you're
know
not
her.
the keymaster?
No. Oh, gosh.
He's
it's
the
on
crypt
one of
keeper.
these. That's
He's
a
the
good,
gatekeeper?
he had a better description than
Does
mine.
he get to go, ah?
So our initial
So this thing is human. Looks human at least. It's dressed in foul-smelling and damp clothing. Its skin is puffy and bloated and looks like it's beginning to rot.
You feel like a fish out of water.
It lunges towards you.
Ah!
What do you do?
Pull my pistol and shoot.
Run away.
Okay,
Run.
so we're going to start with you. weapons roll, firearms roll. So you're going to roll and decide if you're going to add anything to it. Remember, it has a hit threshold. So you have a number to hit. And I'll just tell you for sake of ease, his number is a 3. I think yours is probably also a 3. I think she has a 4. But
Yep. You might want to hit this thing.
I will add 3.
okay. So you're definitely going to hit.
Yep.
Why would
Because you can't
add
roll. You
3?
can't roll a 1 and
I rolled a 1.
yeah, you can't miss. So it's going to hit. And now you roll your damage, and you're going to be at point blank with a pistol. So I believe that is, we have our cheat sheet here. A pistol is a 0 modifier. At point blank, though, you'll be able to add
2
damage. Yes. So you will roll and add.
Why would you?
6.
So you can see that you shoot the thing point blank, and it barely does the damage that you would expect a bullet to do, because you know what bullets do.
Yeah.
And it lunges at you and does a scuffling roll at you. And I have a 6 to hit you. That will hit your threshold. And it will do 3 points of damage to you. What is everyone else doing?
Try to back away into the hallway.
Trying to scurry away with my limp leg.
And
Okay.
just as Doc, you're trying to scurry away, you hear the voice of Gant in your head right before this thing speaks in a gurgling voice saying, "Just give it back." And it reaches towards the backpack.
Crap.
You said backpack, something. You
We
brought
left it at
It's
the
in the
press.
police precinct.
Crap. Well, give it back anyway.
Okay.
It wants it back.
Did it look like I was the only one who may have heard that as I'm looking at my other?
Well, you heard it in your head before everyone else heard it out loud.
Oh.
So a moment before everyone else heard it, you heard it in your head.
Can I try to grab the soapstone while the thing is distracted with slime?
You sure can. You can just do it, yes.
Okay, so I wanted to try to grab the rune, the soapstone with the runes on it.
Yep. And they actually have, for our reference here in the
Crack
room,
them
they
over
have
the
this
head with
little drawing of it, and it's a hand holding it, so it's about the size of an elongated baseball or something like that. It's not that big. It
Churchill
will fit in your
cigar.
hand.
It's a loaf of bread from the Outback.
It's a small loaf of bread, yes.
When I grab it, does anything happen?
No.
Interesting.
No vision or anything like that the artifact gave.
Alright, I want to plant a boot to his chest and fire again.
Okay.
And this time, at his head.
So you can make another roll. What is everyone else doing?
Is there anything around me that I can pick up and try to whack it?
Pieces of furniture and stuff you can try and pick up and hit it with.
I didn't use any fire this time, but I did roll a 3.
Okay. So you hit. And then roll that damage.
4.
4. Okay.
Or total with the modifier?
Yep, with the +2.
Okay. And it just kind of pushes you aside and goes to walk out the door, seeing that you do not have the artifact with you. It just wants to get past you.
Good riddance. I push a chair and kind of try to shove it down the hallway.
Okay. Anyone else doing anything?
I'm going to clap manacles on it,
Okay.
on his wrist.
You're going to try to arrest it?
You could try.
Yeah.
This thing isn't even bleeding from where you shot it. It just
but
looks
if,
like
if,
pieces
if
of it are
bullets
falling
won't hurt,
off.
you can still get trapped.
Okay. As you are going to grab it, I need you to make a stability check.
Just let it go, Don.
Does this look like the creature from the Black Lagoon, or what?
No, it looks like it's somebody who spent too much time in the water, dead, and is now
It's like
back.
a zombie.
5.
Yes,
that
it is
'cause-
actually a zombie.
Okay.
5.
You rolled a 5.
I did.
Okay. So you lose 1 stability.
Really?
Yes.
When
You were
he
successful.
touches it.
Yeah. It's just extra freaky.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this is tied to the mythos, so you still lose no matter what. But how
can-
much you lose matters.
Can I just look in the bathtub to see if there's anything in the water?
There isn't.
Just sea water?
It's just salt water.
Can we do a general evidence collection in the room to see if there's anything we'd missed?
Once you've dealt with the zombie,
Yeah.
yes. Otherwise, it's going to kill you.
Oh, sorry.
Well, it was trying to leave,
Well,
right?
it is trying to leave, but he's not
He's
letting
not.
it.
Let
letting
it
him.
go, Slim. We're not going to
so
take it.
My character, just so you
Well,
know, Doc
give me
is Doc's already tried his best to get out of there.
Let's do an athletics check, because that is going to require doing something to stop it.
Alright.
Jim?
It will still be the threshold of 3. It's still to hit him, it'll be a 3.
Mute it.
Rolled a 6.
Okay. So you get manacles on it, but it's just continuing to walk.
Well, I was going
can't.
to do one on this and then like one on like the railing because we came upstairs. I assume there's a railing there.
There's stuff there, sure.
Yeah. So
Okay.
it was boop and then one on the railing.
Okay.
Kind of lock it in place.
Probably gonna snap that doggone manacle.
Once you do that, it just keeps walking as it's going out, and the hand that is at the stairway just gets ripped off, and it keeps walking down the stairs. And there's no blood, just some like little black globules
Icor.
just fall out onto the ground.
Icor.
And not even sticky or drippy, just like solid chunks of stuff
Oh, that's
fall
disgusting.
out of it.
Ugh.
Yeah.
All right, so now
It might be a good idea to just try and finish it off.
With what?
Yeah. I'm going to
What?
start.
Because you've done 7 out of 8 points, just
Yeah.
to give you a number
So
there.
it's in.
Because you rolled high twice.
It's in a hallway, like
Yep.
going down the stairs. It's fish in a barrel.
Okay. So you're going to shoot one more time?
Yep.
Let's do it.
back of his head.
Okay.
Let's hope a little kid doesn't walk out.
Yeah,
Just
3
kidding.
on the dice
that hits.
and
And
damage.
roll at least a 2.
I rolled a 1
Oh.
with the plus
No,
2.
but +2.
Yeah, okay, we'll
That's
do
3.
that. Well, you can get it behind it point blank. So you hit it, and this just nastiness comes out of it, and you've kind of left a pretty nasty mess there. I need everybody, due to this being something you have never experienced before, everyone will make a stability check. Tell me, you again, because of the nastiness of it. Make a stability check and tell me if you're spending before you do it.
I'm not,
Okay?
which is consistent as to why I'm
Nice.
left.
You got 3?
I'm gonna spend 1
Okay?
+3.
Okay. Everybody remember the numbers you have, because I'm going to give you what you have to do afterwards. Go
Okay.
ahead. Did you roll?
Yeah.
All right, okay. So anyone who had a 5 or better loses 1. Anyone who did not reach 5 loses 4 stability.
Wow.
Plus the 1 that we spent, or
Yes.
whatever we spent.
You don't get a spend back.
So I lost 5, so I'm down to 1 stability.
Oh dear, you're not very stable.
You are pretty shaken right now, just on the verge of that step. That if we want to take a look quickly, you'll notice on our quick sheet, our cheat sheet here, on the top of the 3rd column, you're shaken when stability is between 0 and 5. You get the same penalties as for being hurt.
0 and -5.
Yeah,
Does
exactly.
anyone have psychoanalysis? I don't think we do.
I thought the doctor ended up with some.
Psychoanalysis.
It would be on the
Oh, right, under general
on the
abilities.
right. Do you have any on the right?
Maybe.
Psychoanalyst?
Yeah,
Yes, he has 5.
Okay.
because that's the only way I think that we can get stability back.
Or
for
following
us.
your drive.
Oh, right.
All right. So you keep that in mind too.
So the doctor can never go, there, it's okay.
Basically, you can be a little mini
Essentially, yeah.
therapist.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
So if
Portable-
I get
portable
negative, I
therapist.
might need you to help calm
Yeah.
me down.
It starts from, stability starts at what number?
Everyone started at
We
10.
started at 10.
Alright, just want to be clear.
When we made the characters, we gave everyone 10 stability and 10 sanity so that everyone would start on the same level.
I gotta remember. Well, my drive is curiosity, so
But it's not
Yeah.
until you get to negatives that it matters, right?
Yeah.
At that point.
0.
Just want to be clear.
Yep.
yeah. For
0
roleplay
to negative
purposes.
5 is your first. Okay. So within the room itself, you found what there was to find. You found the stone, and the second vision was the doctor, I believe. That was with the reptilian type of thing, the sea thing, and what have you.
Yes.
When you get a chance to look at that stone, it looks the same as the symbols that the same symbols that were in the stone that the thing you had the vision of.
Okay.
So
Does
it
the-
looks
the-
very similar.
I was going to say also, does the thing that attacked us look like that thing in the image?
No,
No.
the thing that attacked you looked like Gant.
Ah,
sailor. Yeah.
like sailor. Okay.
So you heard his voice, and it looked
Yeah.
like it. So it's zombie Gant.
Okay.
Zombie
Does everyone
Gant.
know? If everyone noticed that same thing, I'll just. If they don't, I'll point it out. If they
Okay,
do,
yep.
then no big deal. Okay. The doc definitely seems more shaken, I guess, than everybody else. I would say.
That's It's-
He's also older. I was playing him as he's older than everybody else too. So he's he's not as quick. on his feet anymore.
So the important clue here to find was the stone itself. So you guys have that.
Okay.
Where do you want to investigate next? You still have the crews of the other boats and Atlas Industries.
I would like to. Is there some kind of way of analyzing the mess that was left behind? I mean, is there some kind of...
You mean the zombie remains?
Yeah, the zombie remains, or...
Aside from the fact that you've never seen anything like it, you can't really identify what it is.
Okay.
And maybe because you've never seen anything quite like it.
Is there a way to take samples of it and then maybe investigate it later?
So the blood is congealed into almost a reddish and blackish sludge.
Okay.
The lungs are waterlogged. Let's see. The guy Gant had several wounds, like along his neck and his back. It looked like something slashed him open, but it's just covered by a grayish, gooey scab of scaly pseudo-flesh.
Okay. I guess I was also
That's
trying
pretty
to...
gross.
I wanted to do I know I have like chemistry and a few other skills here.
Technically,
try to
none of those help you with
would help me.
this.
That's what
but
I was
this
gonna
is
know.
the information you get from examining it.
Thank you.
Did you happen to mention that it said something in your head?
Yeah, I'll mention it now. Say, did you kind of...
So in my cop mind, I'm thinking about the Brotherhood, the fraternity, order of police, and all that good stuff. If this thing was willing to attack us for this, what's going on at the precinct?
Yeah, we'll definitely need to check that out. That's how I was concerned. I didn't want us to have it on us or anybody else. So, wait a minute. There was Gant, but there was 2 others.
There were 7 other crewmen.
No, there's 7 other crewmen, but 2 that we know were attacked and thrown overboard, right? 3 that we knew.
Well, we knew that 3 were simultaneously, but we know all of them were taken overboard.
The only one that
Except
was
for
not was
Cookie.
Cookie.
Was,
Yeah.
okay.
Cookie was the only one that was
So
on
they
the
have
boat.
plenty of minions is what I'm trying to get at. Whatever this thing has, there's plenty of minions to attack the city. So we better figure this thing out pretty darn
That's why
fast.
I'm thinking the police need to be warned.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yep. So nothing better than evidence to support our crazy claim that something is here after this artifact.
So head back to the precinct to warn the police and see if anything's happened there?
And again, I'll try to wrap up anything that is any sort of evidence for us to show to whomever.
I just worry.
Head or whatever.
I just worry that this is just going to be one of those things where it's, oh, y'all are crazy.
Well, not only that, you're right. We really don't want it to get out to everybody too quickly because then it would be a mass hysteria. We don't want that either. So we need to be careful how we do indicate this to our fellow individuals here in the city. That's what I mean. So I think that's the important thing that we need to work on.
Yes. It's probably really smart not to let hysteria out in New York City in the 30s.
Yes. So
Because that's where we are.
So if we do indicate
Let's
we can't
just
really
go collect this thing from the evidence lockup and keep it on us. I'm not going to put my fellow officers at risk.
That's fair. I get you. Well, we need to put it somewhere. If it comes after us and takes us out, then the city's done.
Well, you saw
If it comes after us, it'll get a taste of American ingenuity.
You saw too, except for its initial lunge, when you got close enough, it didn't move very fast. So you could easily outpace whatever it is.
Even I could.
Yeah.
Okay.
As a game mechanic, I believe the Doctor has fleeing.
Yeah.
So you're able to get away from stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Even if it's a lame limp, you're able to get away from. You're crafty.
You can whack him with your
I go after,
cane.
get him white. That's cool.
The old whack and run.
Okay.
you play keep away by holding him out with the stick.
There you go.
With your cane.
Whatever works, right?
Hey, whatever. Exactly. If that counts, it counts, right?
All right, so we're going to go back and grab the idol or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So you go.
The infant-sized soapstone.
Yes.
And do you want to visit the Atlas Industries office next, or talk to the crew of the tugboat or Coast Guard? Those are both the same thing. Talking to the other vessels.
I would like to talk to the other vessels and
I would agree.
and then go to Atlas because I think I want to exhaust the other leads before I go to the one where I have a suspicion that they know more about this than
Absolutely.
we do.
I agree.
Absolutely.
There are 2 other vessels that saw the Star of Mauritius that night. And just so you guys know, this is going to be the next day now. We're going to go 1 day past your initial investigation of the boat. Because enough stuff has happened that you guys need to rest. And so with that, Kurt, if you would take a minute, or if you happen to remember what you get for health or anything by resting overnight, you get something. I just can't remember what it was.
I don't remember, but I will find out.
But take a look while we then go on to 2 other vessels did see the Star of Mauritius that fateful night. One is the tugboat crew that helped bring the ship back into shore, and the other is the Coast Guard crew of the USCGC Mackinac. That boat is still at sea, but you can reach them when they arrive in port later today.
Okay.
When you go visit the tugboat crew, they are unwilling to talk about what they witnessed on the Star. Although one of them, a young Irishman named McNulty, pulls you aside and says, I thought maybe I saw something in the water, but no one wants to believe me.
Tell us, can you describe it with more detail than something?
So he keeps telling you, I can't be sure what it was, but if you happen to press him with an interrogation or reassurance spend, he might talk.
I'll go interrogation.
Okay. He says that, and he makes sure nobody else of the crew is listening as he tells you. He says, I swear, as we were bringing that boat in, there was a face in the water looking up at me.
Like what kind of face?
It's like a man in the water just looking at me.
That's
Did
rather.
you initiate rescue operations to... Like, did you throw him a raft?
No,
or?
no one else saw it. No, we couldn't do it. And then at that point he goes quiet and just won't talk anymore.
Okay.
As an aside on health,
Yeah.
we may have made a minor mistake earlier. Generally, when you use first aid, that can only take you back to 1/3 of your maximum health. But then you gain health at a rate of 2 points per day of restful activity. If you're wounded, you're supposed to be hospitalized and gain at a different rate. But for us, I'd say resting is 2 points.
Okay. So for the person who was wounded, I think there's only one.
Should be full health, I believe.
You get 2 points. When the Coast Guard cutter comes back, it will take, let's say the captain of the Coast Guard cutter is, do we have this? Let's see. So you get in touch with him on the radio when it docks at Long Beach in Nassau County. Over the radio, they mentioned that one of their crew, a man named Joe Paulry, went mad and tried to jump overboard during the same storm, and they had to tie him to the bed until they had docked. And he is now in the Long Island Hospital.
Is he still manic?
When they left him, he was, yes.
Definitely want to talk to him.
Yeah, and of their encounter with the boat, the Coast Guard captain tells you they saw the lights of the steamer in the night at the height of the storm, and the seas were too rough for the Coast Guard to board the steamer or render assistance, so they contacted the port and warned them that the steamer was adrift. Now, does anybody have outdoorsman, piloting, or law?
I have piloting.
Okay. So you know that the Coast Guard should have offered assistance unless the storm was so wild that it endangered both ships. And you press the captain on this, and he says that they might have been able to reach the Star, but he was struck by the conviction that there was no one left alive, so they didn't bother.
So this was just a gut intuition that he had.
Yes.
All right.
All right. So now you have another lead there that you can follow, and that's Joe Paulry
Yep.
at the insane asylum. He is at the, what do they say he is? He's at Long Island.
Long
Island.
Yep.
At one point, we also need to go back to the art gallery to check out the paintings.
Okay.
So, Doc, you think you can get us in to talk to him?
Ori? Think so.
All right.
I can definitely
Okay.
give it a chance.
Let's go there. I don't want to explore the Atlas thing until we have all of our ducks in a row and
I would agree.
it's a possibility of making an arrest or something
By
when
the
we
way,
get
good job, Slim. I think if somebody says anything odd like that, like the young man there, about a face in the water or anything like that, let's just keep that under wraps,
there. Yeah.
Keep
I don't
it
even know what that proprietor of the inn is going to be doing with that mess that was made.
It's probably not too noticeable in that place.
Oh, fair enough.
It's pretty nasty.
She might use some of it for a night mask.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I did kind of mention I took samples or whatever. I mean, obviously, we wouldn't want to leave anything that would alarm anyone.
Okay.
So.
And yeah, it makes sense that you would not make it any worse than it needs to be, right?
Right.
Okay. There's one other thing I want to mention here. As you are finding your way to the
Long Island General Hospital.
It's actually at a Long Island hospital. The name of the hospital is Our Lady of Perpetual Succor.
Nice.
It's a small private hospital. It's formerly a mansion. Donated to the church when its owners could no longer afford the upkeep. It's all Gothic architecture and polished wood, and it stinks of incense and varnish. Let me just...
Do have a question. Maybe it gets to that later.
Yep, go ahead.
But when you actually do have to psychoanalyze the individual or talk with them,
Yep.
On some level, which skill we would use to...
Psychoanalysis.
That would be my guess.
Well, I'll tell you what it is if that piece matters, when it matters.
All right.
Okay. So you notice while you're traveling that a lot of during the course of traveling around the city and going from place to place, you hear just people in the street shouting things, blasphemous things at the top of their lungs, like people are just starting to go a little odd in the city while you're traveling around. You reach the hospital. You hear Paul read long before you reach his private room. He's singing an old Spanish dialect, some weird, like, sailing tune or something. And before you get there, the nuns who run the hospital warn you that he's very ill and liable to be violent. He's tied down and mildly sedated for his own good.
Is he able for us to speak with?
So you reach his room, and you see him tied down on the bed. And he's a broad-shouldered, looks like a vigorous young man. He looks tough and practical. And it looks even strange to see him so broken and confused, just laying there singing in some old Spanish dialect.
Now, I've worked a beat for a little while. I've worked in Harlem and whatnot. What exactly is he singing?
He starts to switch in between Spanish and English, and it's you hear words like gold of the sea and the devil's breath and sing-song tones just drifting between different languages and styles.
Okay.
Well, are we there to talk with him at this
You
point?
are in his room watching him right now.
Hey, Joe.
Yeah.
My name's Dr. Wellington.
Okay. It looks like he manages to pull himself together briefly. And he, for the first time, really notices that you're all in the room with him.
It's nice to meet you. I hope your stay here isn't too bad.
Yeah, it's not bad. They treat me okay.
We're here to try to help everyone. Apparently there was something that happened on that boat that you won last night. Yesterday.
Oh, yeah, I saw the devil climb right out of the sea, right onto the boat, yeah.
Interesting. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
No.
No?
No.
Okay, well, if you...
And then he starts babbling in Spanish for a little bit. And it
think-
doesn't sound like Spanish you've heard on the street or in the university or anything, but you know it's Spanish. It's
But it
got to
knows-
be some really old dialect.
Is it ancient?
Kind of like the Spanish you heard in the visions.
That's
you
what I was
had.
thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I meant. So something like that, an ancient
And
language
then
of
he
some sort.
when he's drifting in and out of English and Spanish, he's rambling on about demons possessing people and the terrible dreams he's been having. And then he saw the devil come out of the sea, and the thing went right up on the boat.
Can you tell me what the devil looked like?
He said, "The devil? You know what the devil looks like? He climbed right up out onto the boat."
So let me guess. He's got red skin with big horns. No?
No? No, that's not the devil at all. That's not the devil. And he starts screaming, and does not stop.
Oh, Joe, calm down. Is there something I can
The nuns rush in and sedate him fully, and he is out.
Okay.
Got to work on your bedside manner there, Doc.
I guess so.
He got everything he could out of him, just so you know. He did just fine.
I did just fine, huh?
Yes.
Okay, well, excellent. Well, that's all we can get from this gentleman, so
Yes.
let's do our best to... where to next? Thank you. He says, thank you very much for allowing us to come in and speak with the young man.
And the nurses are all very, quiet and reserved. Well, we hope he gets better. I'm sure he'll get better.
Me
The
too.
museum?
Head to the museum.
The art gallery.
That's what I meant. I'm sorry, the Greenwich
And that's
Gallery.
what I meant too. Yes, the gallery in Greenwich.
This guy.
We got to go to the Feinstein
Yes.
Gallery. In
So you
Greenwich
find
Village.
that one of Henry Wilcox's bas-reliefs is on show at this art gallery. It depicts a strange city of many angled buildings and impossible tombs, and it somehow reminds you of that artifact that you're carrying around now. And when you arrive there, and you're looking at the artifact, I went and moved my pages around so I have them in the wrong order now, damn it. 70 to 71 and then 72. All right, you are greeted as you guys are looking at the different things in the art museum, or at the art gallery. I'm going to mix the two, art gallery and museum.
That's fine.
A man who is very thin but still dressed in federal agent clothing. He looks very much like a federal agent. Has a few bruises on his face, but he looks very stern and in control of himself, if not a little sketchy, a little nervous, if you will. And he comes up and he introduces himself. He says, "Hey, I'm Agent Croft, Malcolm Croft, and I heard you're looking into what happened on the Star of Mauritius." And the Dr. Wellington distinctly remembers in his vision, this is one of the guys that was shooting a pistol at the creature that was running away.
Okay.
So you clearly recognize him. He looked, in your vision, he was several years younger and not as gaunt, but it's exactly the same guy, without a doubt.
Gotcha. So I'm chomping at the bit to have the opportunity to tell the rest of the gang, this is the guy from my vision. Clearly, I can't say that now.
So he says, I've seen that you guys have been doing some investigation, and what have you learned about Wilcox?
I don't know how much we've learned at all, guys.
Do we have any reason to trust this guy?
Are you saying that in front of him?
No, we're doing it now. We're talking it out now, Mickie. He gives you guys a look. He just literally says, I don't think we have much to talk about at all, actually.
I might ask him what his interest in Wilcox is. See what he tells us, and then assess honesty if necessary.
Okay.
Ooh, that's a skill? Nice.
So he... Alright, he tells you... you ask him what he knows about Wilcox? Is that
That's why he's interested in him.
why he's interested?
Why he's asking.
And he is clearly willing to speak, like right off the bat. He confronted you guys, but he also wants to talk back and forth. And he says that Wilcox, well, he owns Atlas Engineering, inherited from his uncle. Have you seen his depraved art? And he points to the sculpture piece up on the wall. He was one of those touched by the epidemic of 25 when degenerates across the United States fell under their sway. We wiped the infestation at Innsmouth, but he's trying to put it all back together. We've got to stop him.
What infestation?
Who is they?
So, you ask what happened at Innsmouth? Just the next question. Ask him. He says, at Innsmouth, well, they crawled up out of the sea. The old man Marsh called them up, and he offered his daughters to them. They birthed horrors in that town, terrible, half-human things. The government found out, and we raided Innsmouth in the winter of 28. S-19 and the Urania dropped depth charges off of Devil's Wreath. They thought that would be enough, the fools. But a few bombs won't stop them. It's not enough. Not enough by half. It's up to me, to us now. You're good men and a woman. Good American men and a woman. I can tell by your eyes. You've seen them and their works. Unless we act, they'll rise up and devour the world. We've got to do something.
How do you know about them? I mean, other than what you just said, but what other history do you have
He
with
tells
them?
you, I was there in Innsmouth. I was part of the raid.
You were actually part of the raid.
Yeah.
And you would know that for certain because you remember him from your vision.
And anyone with assess honesty, which I think a couple of
Yeah,
people
that's
have,
what I wanted to check for as
he
well.
is telling the truth.
Is telling
No doubt about it.
Okay.
You have psychoanalysis as well.
Yes.
He appears dangerous. He's on the edge. This guy's on the edge.
More dangerous than Slim, huh?
And anyone with cop talk, which is everyone here, you also can back up that he is at least a former federal agent.
Okay.
So he wants in. You know, I'm with you guys now. We've got to get rid of the thing. Do you have it?
What would you do with it?
Well, you've got to destroy it, of course, and all of them. You've got to stop them so this stuff doesn't happen again. We can't let them rise up.
How would you destroy it?
You have to find a way, of course, but you've got to stop them first.
Keep saying
Wilcox is one of them. He's got to be stopped.
I find it interesting that a federal agent wants this device and is just going to simply destroy it.
Well, of course. You've seen some of what it can do.
You've seen. What
I saw you guys at the boarding house. You know what it can do.
Can we assess honesty on whether he's going to actually destroy it or not?
Everything he tells you is the truth.
Okay.
Okay.
So we believe him.
That's so
Yeah.
believable.
Can you tell us more about who they are? These people, what's going to rise up? You just keep saying they.
Yeah, exactly. What is that?
You've seen them. You know what I'm talking about.
The zombies.
The demons, the evil, the old things. The things that rise up out of the depths.
Is it just because of this thing?
I mean, it's part of it.
Do we know what started this? I mean, other than...
No.
No?
Nobody else is willing to fight. It was just me. Now it's us. We could do this together.
So, we got a good feeling about you. The only thing is what do you plan? I mean, this just seems odd. You're by yourself here talking to us about this? I mean...
I've been following Wilcox around for a while and trying to figure out where he is. He's kind of a recluse.
I see.
Well, while you guys are talking, can I go over to the gallery office since I know the owner, Harvey? Harvey and I go way back.
Yeah.
Harvey Feinstein and I, can I go into the office and see if I can figure out anything on the painting
Remember that name from a
and
movie.
Henry's painting?
Yeah, his artwork,
Yeah.
it's odd artwork. And
Like-
it just reminds you of the artifact, and they've never seen anything like it except Henry's artwork.
So nothing in the books tells me more about like where it came from, any special agreements that they had.
No.
Just
Yeah.
a regular show.
Yeah, regular show. And just your own examination of it is very reminiscent of the artifact itself. And only because you've seen it. For those who haven't seen it, it's just an odd piece of art.
Forgive me, I'm bad with names sometimes.
Yeah.
What was your name?
Croft, Malcolm Croft.
Oh.
Sounds like it might be time to go back to Atlas Industries or figure out how we're going to track down Wilcox.
Okay.
By the way,
So
there
Croft
more?
did ask if you had the artifact.
yes, he did ask.
Yes. Did anyone answer him?
We very specifically did not.
We did not.
Okay.
That's right.
Okay.
I almost want to see if we can conscript him into going
He's
up.
still with us right now, though.
Yeah, no, but I'm not talking out loud. I'm thinking out loud here. So there is the Coast Guard ship that went to do rescue operations on the cargo ship on the Star.
Well,
They dropped
technically,
off-
the Coast Guard ship just called in the Port Authority, who dragged it in with the tug.
So they
The Coast
dropped
Guard
off.
never went on the ship.
They dropped off a individual who has been most unhelpful. Would you be willing to go to where the cargo ship is docked in Rhode Island to
Well, the Coast
interview?
Guard, Coast Guard ship. Is
Interview the captain and crew.
It's in Rhode Island?
I'm after Wilcox. When you guys are ready to go for him, I'll be there.
Sorry, what's in
The Coast
Providence?
Guard, the Coast Guard crew, they have nothing to do with this.
So
It's all Wilcox. We've
So-
got to stop them before it happens again.
So that's basically it. You wanted to stop Wilcox from collecting this artifact?
Before what happened in Innsmouth happens again. Yes. They use that artifact, that thing, to the horrors that came out of the town. Terrible half-human
So,
things.
I'm just curious. What are you going to arrest him on? How are you going to take him in?
I'll take care of it when the time comes.
Okay. All right.
That gives me comfort.
Well, we're not soldiers, so...
That's fine.
All right.
You don't need to be. We just need to stop him. We can't let him use the artifact.
Okay. I hope you got backup.
Well, I do now, yeah. 4 more.
All right.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
So we're going to Atlas now?
So, yeah.
Don, what you thinking?
Something's not setting right with me on this one.
Me neither.
Now, other than the fact that he is a disturbed man, he has said or done nothing wrong.
No.
Just to be clear.
I don't think he made it. This is
Yeah.
Kevin talking. I don't think he made that comment for that reason. I think he was like the connection with Wilcox and him and why they haven't taken Wilcox down, and now suddenly he's coming to talk to us. What does he need to talk to us for? You see what I'm saying? That's what my issues are. Yeah.
Well, but if he was at Innsmouth, which we would know about, or at least
Now, you have the
some would know
vision.
about.
The doctor had the vision of Innsmouth, and
Yes.
he was there.
Right. and
Oh,
we
by the
know-
way, I explained the vision that I couldn't say earlier. That
Yeah.
was him. You know, when we do get a chance to get a free moment.
Now,
will
just
explain
to
it to
just to
you.
make it perhaps a little easier, he will tell you and said, "Look, when you guys are ready to go for Wilcox, I'll be around watching. I'll go with you." And then he walks out.
Oh, so he's not going to go with us. All right, fair enough. Now that makes
I
sense.
think it'll make it easier for you guys to
That'll
decide
make
what
much
you're
more
doing
sense.
next without the fifth
Yeah.
wheel. Right.
Well, not only that, without a federal agent walking around with us as we go up
What
into...
you talking about, Willis?
Which they probably are familiar with this guy, possibly.
Former federal agent. He introduced himself as agent, but
Okay. I'm with you.
he didn't use the word former. But you know he's a former federal agent. The cop talk bit lets you know that he clearly, if he was still a federal agent, his suit wouldn't be threadbare and he wouldn't be in such bad shape.
It's okay. Tilly, what did you find? What would
Bupkis. Harvey didn't have anything in his book special about that art.
Gotcha. Well, it's our next stop.
So the Atlas office?
Atlas. Sounds like it is.
I think all other options have been exhausted.
All right. So at the office of Atlas Industries in New York, the secretary gets Mr. Boyle for you. When he arrives, he is clearly a nervous man.
Before we get into that, I just
Yeah.
wanted to talk briefly with
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
I guess when we get there, suggest we probably act like we know nothing, maybe know little, not lead on too much that we've been to an agent. Or
I think our
Just
thing
wanna be
should
clear.
be that we were reviewing the logs of the Star, and we noticed that this was, we're looking more into what the crew, and there was a murder on the ship or something. That's our
angle. Yeah, let's use that as our angle instead. If we're coming to take you down.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Pardon me. All right. Like I say, you arrive, and the secretary gets Mr. Boyle for you, and he is a nervous fellow. And when he comes out, he says, "Hi, yes. What can I help you with, officer, doctor?"
So last night the Star,
Officer, detective. Damn it. Go ahead.
the Star of Mauritius was brought into dock, and all crew bar one MIA. I was reviewing the ledgers and discovered that a Wilcox was the last account that chartered this boat. I would like to see if there's any more information that you can provide for me.
Well, I can confirm that the Star of Mauritius was indeed under contract for Atlas Industries to deliver machine parts from Kingsport to New York. Yes,
From which port?
Kingsport.
Kingsport.
Kingsport to New York. Yep. Definitely, that was true. It's
Okay.
true. Yes.
Where's that Kingsport at exactly?
Jamaica.
Jamaica.
There you go.
The machinery. Was there anything special about the machinery?
There's nothing more I need to reveal unless you've brought a warrant with you.
Well, we're getting all
Can
lit-
Tilly try to sweet talk him?
A 1-point reassurance spend
There we
can
go.
reveal some information here.
I don't have any.
It doesn't have to
reassurance.
be Tilly, but any 1-point reassurance spend.
I can do that.
Yeah?
Yep.
Okay. So with the 1-point reassurance spend, Boyle does admit that the machine parts carried on the Star were scrap from the old Marsh refinery in Innsmouth. and that Atlas bought them from the federal government through a connection of the late Jeremiah Wilcox.
So these are machine parts that were part of that
Of
prior
the
incident,
gunsmiths.
of the incident,
Yeah.
that were there when the incident
Yeah.
happened.
Now, he doesn't tell you that, but yes, that's
We can piece that
that's what we're
together.
inferring, yeah.
yes.
So it's possible, like in my head, I'm thinking, it's possible that this artifact was buried with the thing, and then when they discovered it, they threw it in a special hold. All right.
Also, it's a good cover to, say we were delivering machine parts when you're actually delivering something else.
Well, and there was a note in the ledger about the special.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
It was hired to
Yeah.
Yeah. So
transport
I'll
something
pull
special.
out that bit of ledger and I'll show him the for special, and then do we know what this special is? Like why such careful attention was paid to it?
I can't tell you any reason why the captain would be writing such stuff. Look at how horribly organized that ship's log is. I couldn't tell you why he wrote anything there.
Do you think we could talk to someone who would know more than what you do?
There is nobody with more information. I'm sorry.
Gotcha.
All right. Well, just for your records, everything is under police lockup until we've solved why all the crew is missing. Don't expect to receive any of that merchandise until after the investigation is cleared.
Well, great then. Good day to you. And he shows you out the door.
Looks like we'll have to do this more unofficially. Maybe if we kind of have a meeting of sorts, our journalist meets with him, maybe over dinner.
Yeah. I mean, is there anything that interrogation or flattery or anything like that we'd be able to get anything more from him? Or?
You are done with him. Or he is done with you, is probably the easier way to put it. You definitely were not done with him. He is done with you.
I would like to stake out this office and watch for where he goes after this news.
That works because we'll say a couple hours afterwards, you receive a call from the precinct, a messenger perhaps,
Okay.
or maybe you have a radio, whatever it may be. You receive word from the precinct that Boyle contact the New York office, and there is a message for you.
Okay.
So they need you to go there to talk to him.
Boyle's the guy we were just talking to?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Boyle, Mr. Boyle. The message is if you call him from the police precinct, he wants to talk to you.
Okay.
Oh,
He doesn't know you're sitting outside his office, you see.
that's good.
All right. So a couple of you stay here, and I'll go back real quick.
Okay.
I have a plan if this doesn't work, but we'll see what he has to offer.
So when you get on the phone with him, he tells you that he actually needs the cargo of the Star of Mauritius, and of course, I mean it obviously can't be relevant to the case, as nothing dangerous was stored on board. Can you just kindly release the cargo? I'm sorry about our incident earlier.
I am going to need to discuss this with someone who knows more of why this cargo was acquired. Is there any way you can arrange that meeting?
If you can just hand over the cargo from the ship to Atlas Industries, they'll take care of transporting it to Fire Island facility.
I need to talk to someone first.
That's me.
And
He's in charge.
why is this
Mr. Boyle is
machinery
in charge.
needed?
It's just machinery to be used by Atlas Industries. It's just old machinery they're going to reuse for new machinery. Recycling. Which I don't even know if it was a word in 1932, was it? Had recycling been invented yet? They're
Right.
just reusing, repurposing.
There you go.
Yeah.
Repurposing. Okay.
Yes.
I do have a plan. If you get a second to get back, they're not gonna.
We can give him the machines.
Until this investigation is over, I'm sorry, I cannot release this. Release the materials.
Good idea.
Good day, sir.
Okay. Then shortly after, while you're still in the precinct, the phone rings again, and it's Boyle calling back. And he informs you that Mr. Wilcox is willing to meet with you to discuss the matter further
That's what I
over
was gonna
transferring
say.
the cargo.
That's what
Okay.
I'm gonna do.
And at that point, the officer, the reception officer, gives you a message that Wilcox left earlier, and this is a handout, again, the second of the 2 handouts for the adventure, and this is a message from Mr. Wilcox to you.
All right, and I'll read it out loud here. From Babylon Estate, Eastfire Island, to whom it may concern, I am given to understand that a terrible tragedy has befallen one of the proud ships that brave the wild seas, and that the ship in question is the Star of Mauritius, engaged by my company to perform certain tasks. There are certain matters that must be attended to, matters of both art and considerable urgency, and I believe they would be best discussed in person. You are hereby invited to visit me at my private estate on Eastfire Island. For some reason, that's a question mark after that. Please contact the Atlas Industries office in New York, and Mr. Boyle will arrange transport immediately. Yours, H.A. Wilcox. Postscript. In addition to its normal cargo, the Star was, I understand, carrying a peculiar and valuable piece of modern art that is most dear to my heart. It is, of course, of no relevance to any criminal investigation, so if you could bring it with you to my estate, I would consider it, shall we say, the price of your passage.
That's not suspicious at all.
Interesting. That was kind of the plan that I had.
So,
we met with them unofficially.
So Boyle has now,
Like
in addition to this letter, now invited me to dinner at the
Well,
estate.
Wilcox has invited you officially.
Wilcox
yes.
put the B in the letter, but Boyle over the phone.
Boyle has said, you have the message, and I will arrange for your transport once you agree to the meeting. Yes.
Okay. And I'll head back to the stakeout
Okay.
and
of course she'll tell us.
share this new information with you all.
Excellent. So I think we should go.
This
The only-
is
the interesting thing is,
the question is, do we bring this item with us?
No.
I don't think he's going to take us if we don't have it. I mean, we could try, but as he said, it's the price of our passage. I bet that they won't take us without that.
But we have 2 of these items now.
Well, you
one do
have
we-
the artifact and you have a stone.
and the stone.
And he's talking about the artifact.
How
does-
hard would it
because
be?
the stone
but does
wasn't on the
Boyle
boat.
know?
Oh, yeah, he knows. Well, I mean, he should know.
yeah, he would probably.
It's his boss.
How hard would it be for me to replicate the artifact at the museum and or at the art gallery?
I would say just short of impossible because it is not accounted for in the adventure.
Okay.
That's all.
Stop messing with the game.
How much Play-Doh do you have?
Okay.
Interesting.
Oh, never mind.
Okay.
So
Well,
can we try leaving it? Do you guys want to risk leaving it?
No, because we're not going to be able to get over there
Right.
without it.
So you really want to hand it to him?
Are you currently still carrying it around with you?
Yes.
Okay. Just want to make sure.
Yes, he is.
Okay.
Yeah, my
You don't
plan.
want to take it with us. What
my
if he
plan
takes
was
it?
For us to put pressure on him with our journalist friend here, Michael, and if word got out that he had such an item, we could use that as leverage. The fact that you're actually holding the item, by the authorities, he can't actually just, bulldoze his way in and get the item itself.
Correct.
But if we used the leverage of saying, hey, we're going to go to the papers about this or whatever, then that might sway him one way or the other to cooperate with us. So,
How reputable is Michael's name within the newspaper industry? Pretty good?
Yeah, thumbs up isn't audible. Kurt.
Yeah, no, I have a very strong reputation.
So if you were to actually publish a story, given what we've discovered so far, well, maybe not publish it, but have it held in check so that if you don't come back, it gets published.
I don't know, blackmail Wilcox?
Not so much blackmail, but
It's like an insurance policy.
insurance
A
policy.
share our return?
absolutely.
Sounds reasonable.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I would need a night to write it, but I could
You
certainly
can
do
draft
that.
it up? All right. So you draft it up, and we'll go tomorrow then.
Take pictures of it so that it looks more legitimate.
Take pictures with what?
Cell phone.
With your cell phone?
No, 32 they had. 1932 they had
Yeah, you would
cameras.
have
They would have
cameras,
pictures.
Come on now.
But they wouldn't think to
I can't
Pictures were
remember.
expensive.
Did you have?
He didn't just haphazardly take photos of
That is very
documents.
fair.
Did
That
you
part is fair.
have photography as the journalist? I can't
I'm
remember.
about to say,
if you
come
did.
on.
I do.
All right.
Yeah,
So
but
yeah,
say,
you
they
would
got
at least
cameras,
have
yeah.
access to a camera then.
Correct.
Right. So that works.
It's like the papers didn't have pictures or something. Come on, guys.
They take pictures of pictures.
Yeah, right?
So the next morning, we're going to get ready to take the launch to Fire Island. But for now, we're going to take another short pause, and we'll be right back.
Goodbye.
Bye.
For now.
Here's a little more information about what you're hearing. The adventure we are playing is titled The Wreck from the adventure book Arkham Detective Tales. We also used a couple of the downloads from Pelgrane's Trail of Cthulhu downloads page, including the handouts for the adventure and the quick one-page rule sheets. Back to the episode.
Hi, and welcome back to Adventures from the Shed. We're continuing our Trail of Cthulhu game, and with me here is...
JJ, I'll be playing Dawn Slim Persing.
Hi everyone, this is Mickie. I play Tilly Bly, the archaeologist.
Hey, this is Kurt. I am playing the journalist Michael O'Shea, and I'll just say that you say Cthulhu, I say Cthulhu.
Exactly.
Hi, everybody. This is Kevin again, and I will be playing Dr. Wellington.
And I am Joe. I'm the keeper for this Trail of Cthulhu game. That's another way to say it. When we last left off, our heroes, our normal people actually, were going to have taken the invitation of Henry Anthony Wilcox Esquire to visit him on his island. So the next morning, you go to catch the launch off of the port, and you meet up with Malcolm Croft on the way there. You find he's just been following you all along. And he says, "Great, so you got the invitation. We're ready to go then."
Yeah.
About that.
So before you board the launch, there are two crew members there, and they insist on seeing the artifact before allowing you on the boat.
I will leave it in the burlap sack and just kind of hold it open for them.
Okay.
And I recommend not making direct contact with them.
Yeah, they nod, and they allow you onto the launch and start up the motor, and off you go. It takes about an hour from Long Beach to East Fire Island. As you arrive, the sun glitters off the cold waters of the North Atlantic, and to the port side you see the coast of Long Island. To starboard is the low green sandy spit of Fire Island stretching out for miles. The main island is sparsely populated. There's a mix of fishermen and rich New Yorkers with summer houses here. It is East Fire Island, where you're headed, is a much smaller circle of sand and stone. On the west side, an obviously new metal pier extends out into the water. Piles of pipes and other scrap metal lie piled near the pier, and there are several corrugated iron sheds nearby. Also near the work sheds are several small cottages, and the guys on the launch are describing some of this to you. They tell you that's where the estate servants and engineers live. And Mr. Wilcox is awaiting you at his home. His mansion stands on a small rise to the south. It's a smart, modern beach house with electric lights and a colonnade walkway along the beachfront. You make your way up to the house. Again, Croft is with you. And when you enter, it's more like an art gallery than an inhabited house. The whole place is spotless and sterile. The art is an eclectic mix of folk pieces from various Middle Eastern and Pacific cultures, all the way up to the most avant-garde fever dreams of futurists and surrealists. There's even a framed close-up photograph of a razor blade cutting into a human eye, hanging next to a tattered Sanskrit scroll. There are also a large number of bas-reliefs and bizarre shapes that suggest, from a certain angle, a tremendous cyclopean city. You pass by a library. It contains a lot of books there, and there's a large bay window in the library looking down the slope to the colonnade at the seashore beyond. In front of the window is an empty plinth, which I had to look up. Does anyone know what a plinth is? It's the base where you put a column on top of. It is one of the 4 basic structures. I had no idea. But there's one of those.
The more you know.
Plinth. Yes. So there's a plinth flanked by 2 incense burners. A yellow silk cushion sits a short distance back from it, and next to it is a box. It is here that you see Wilcox. And Henry Anthony Wilcox Esquire, clearly an eccentric fellow, he comes into the room and greets you, and he has a servant also bring in a tray of cups and coffee to offer you. Hello. Welcome. I see you've accepted the invitation. Have you brought it with you? The artifact?
That was the price of passage, as you put it.
Great. So he gets the coffee served out to you. I find a nice, comfortable place to sit. And if I hadn't already talked enough, here is Wilcox's monologue, his nice long account. In the spring of 1925, I was attending the Rhode Island School of Design, studying sculpture. A strange mania came over me in February, a period of limitless creativity and inspiration that I have never experienced since. I dreamed such dreams, gentlemen and lady. Dreams of knighted cyclopean stones and strange, sky-flung monoliths, a city of such wonder and terror as to defy merely human conception. It was a dream older than brooding Tyre or the contemplative Sphinx or girdled Babylon. Good gosh. It was the most singular experience of my life. The dreams lingered for a few short days, then vanished. I lapsed first into fever, then into lethargy. I had lost all my eldritch muse. All I had left were a few words, half remembered in a dream. Cthulhu, Rilya, Cthulhu Fletagen. I knew, do not ask how I knew, that the dreams were not wholly mine, that they were older than I. Others had dreamed them before, and I resolved to seek them out. My family had a little money, and I traveled the world looking for signs of such dreams. I found a few traces, a few folk tales, but, well, I see you are people who have walked in dark places. The secrets of pre-human history have fallen into the hands of primitives and superstitious madmen, and I lack the courage or the stomach to ingratiate myself with them. Disheartened and defeated, I return home to Providence, arriving just in time to be at my uncle Jeremiah's deathbed. And as he's speaking, the weather outside is getting worse. Rain begins to spatter against the big bay windows, and fog is rolling up from the sea. And he continues, my uncle Jeremiah had quarreled with my cousin Timothy, and so he left me the majority of shares in his engineering company. I had little interest in the work, although I will not deny the money was welcome. I purchased this house to work on my art in private, hoping I could recapture my dream through toil. Then fortune smiled upon me. By chance, I learned there was a town but a few miles from my birthplace where the dreams I sought had taken root. Its name was Innsmouth. I would have traveled there immediately, but I learned there was an outbreak of disease, and the federal government had quarantined the whole region. Visitors were not permitted. It took me some time to find a way in. An old friend of my uncle worked for the federal government. There was a gold refinery in Innsmouth that had been seized by the government after the deaths of the whole Marsh family in the outbreak, and through my uncle's friend, I'll not name him, I arranged for the demolition and salvage contract to be awarded to my company. I had hoped to carry away some books and works of art from Innsmouth, but the overzealous agents of our government have decreed that nothing may be removed from the town without their permission. I was forced, finally, to bribe and smuggle items out of the town. The artifact found aboard the Star of Mauritius was one of these prizes. Gentlemen and lady, the fancies of madmen and eccentrics aside, these items are harmless. I swear I do not know what happened aboard the steamer, but it simply cannot have had the slightest connection to my little indiscretions. Whew! He likes to talk.
Yeah, clearly. Wow.
So anyone with assess honesty can confirm that Wilcox is being largely honest. He's genuinely appalled at the death of the crew on the ship. And psychoanalysis, you have. So that suggests that his experiences, whatever they were, traumatized him so much they warped all his future actions. He is not as sane as he appears.
So he's just an old man messing with things that he does not understand.
Yeah.
So when he says that it can't be in any way connected to his artifact, he believes that?
Yep. He's being largely honest. Your assessed honesty says he's not trying to deceive you about anything.
It's not a lie if you believe it's the truth.
Exactly the idea.
That was George Costanza.
Okay.
Can I take an opportunity to look around the room to see if there's anything that...
Aside from that, the plinth, that structure, as well as the silk cushion and the incense burning things, it's a library. That's just a spot in front of a big bay window. That looks like it's set up for something.
I guess I would ask him what he plans to do with the artifact.
Well, if a question about the artifact, Wilcox eagerly relates what he knows of it. From what I can gather, it's a sort of psychic sponge. It absorbs thoughts and dreams from those who venerate it, and then slowly exudes them back out. An adept would even reach into the stones and recover specific dreams. It's like a recording of our distant path, a library of thought. I do not know if this is a natural phenomenon that was then attributed to the pre-human gods, or if it is the product of some ancient mental science beyond our modern understanding. But it is beautiful, is it not? A work of sublime artistry. An ancient priest in Sumatra told me of a chant that commands the stone and attunes the mind. Once I recite the chant, the gates of the dream will open to me, not of horn or ivory, but of soapstone and clay. Yeah.
Okay.
So he wants to activate it.
Don't you realize that you could be unleashing horrors onto this world that we don't understand?
No.
Like, in other words, she's trying to reason with him, trying to
No.
get him to realize that this is a bad thing.
No, it's just simply an artifact that absorbs dream energy or something. Surely it's nothing harmful.
Surely, that's what the archaeologists that opened Tut's tomb thought. And we saw what happened to them.
Oh, that's nonsense. There's nothing otherworldly about this at all.
Nonsense. Tell that to the poor dead guy.
Well, this wasn't found in Tut's tomb, regardless.
Okay.
So, I would ask you if you wouldn't mind, good detective, if you would place the artifact on the plinth in the library, right here. That way, I
want to pull
activate
out
it.
the other artifact, the other stone that we found,
Okay.
and ask him what he knows about the inscriptions upon it.
That's nothing I'm aware of. No.
So you're not as aware of the history of this artifact as you claim to be.
Well, the artifact itself is different. This stone is, well, it's nothing. It's just a stone from some ancient civilization or something.
My compatriots here and I had the misfortune of making direct skin-to-stone contact with this, and we were all taken with a vision of sorts.
Oh, no. I'm quite sure the command to activate it hasn't been spoken yet. Well, at least that's the impression the old priest gave me.
Yes,
but I admit the interpreter was not the most reliable fellow. However, if you place it here on the plinth, I can deactivate it if it is activated. Not a problem at all.
a sponge touched still leaks a little, even if it's not wrong.
While they're discussing things, Doc was kind of looking behind him to see if we were being followed by our friend.
Oh, he's with you the whole time. He's just kind of skulking around. Malcolm Croft. Malcolm Croft. He's there with you. He's been with you the whole time.
Who was this agent that helped you smuggle this illicit cargo from Ismith?
And at that point, Wilcox says, look, please just place the artifact down there, and he moves towards you. You have it in a bag, right?
I do.
All right, so as he moved towards you, at this point, Croft, he pulls a pistol out of his jacket, and as soon as Wilcox goes towards you and the artifact, he shoots him in the chest, firing until his gun is empty, and he shouts, "You can't let these demon sorcerers speak a word, you fools! Not one blasphemy! He's one of them, I tell you, and God knows what he would have called up. He has to die!" And his pistol clicks empty. And lightning crashes outside, echoing the gunshots. And Wilcox staggers towards the plinth and sinks onto his cushion and scrabbles at the box next to it before dying. He tries to speak, but only bubbles of bloody froth burst from his lips. Croft is laughing hysterically.
Yeah, I'm gonna bust out some manacles, and I just witnessed a murder.
Yes.
Manacles?
Absolutely.
Shoot him!
He's emptied his gun. He's harmless.
He will attack any investigators who try to restrain him. So, this will be a scuffle versus scuffle.
Time
This
to
will
whip
be
out,
a scuffle
whip out this
versus
cane.
scuffle.
Yeah. And you are the... Well, actually, I guess for the scuffle, he would be the initiator, so he'll go first, and it would roll a 3. Whoever initiates goes first. You
Okay.
still go. You don't
Yeah.
get stopped. It's just he
So
goes
that my
first.
threshold is a 3, so you
Okay,
do
so
scuffle.
he will hit you for 1 point of damage, trying to stop you, and then you can try and grab.
So this is athletics.
scuffle. You should have
Scuffle,
scuffle.
okay.
Yep.
Really? Scuffle?
Scuffle is hand-to-hand fighting.
All right, that is a 5 for me.
Okay.
When I get
So-
an opportunity, I'll, like I said,
Well,
try to
he's
knock
going
you.
to, he's going to be successful now in being able
Oh.
to restrain him.
Never mind then.
So you grab him. Who has the highest sense trouble?
I have a 5.
I have a 2.
I have an 8.
Does the
Sense
doctor
trouble.
have any?
Sense trouble. 0.
All right. So the archaeologist, Tilly, you feel a prickling at the back of your neck, alerting you to movement outside. And through the rising storm, you see something crawl up out of the water and start shambling up towards the house.
I start screaming, it's coming, we have to get rid of it.
Oh, great.
So now you guys have the 3 options that I had mentioned off air. You can either try to deal with the artifact, try and fight what is coming, or escape.
Throw it into the fire.
It is nearly indestructible, as you found. However,
Yeah.
Wilcox was just talking about being able to deactivate it, so maybe if you could interact with it some way.
The plinth. He was trying to get something out of the plinth
Well, he
when
was trying to
dying.
set it on top of it.
Yes.
But what was
yeah.
he scrabbling at?
He was scrabbling
There-
at something
There's
when
a
he was
box
dying.
next to it. Yep.
Yes.
Can I
What
open the
is in
box?
that?
Yeah.
What's in the box?
What's in the box?
So at this point, you can find you have. All right, let me specify here. You have a few minutes to act before what you now recognize as zombies coming up from the ocean, before they reach and storm the house. So you can either attempt to deal with the artifact, fortify your position, or flee for your lives. One of the things that was mentioned was he has. Well, maybe he didn't mention it, but I'll mention it just to make it easy. There is a scroll that has some information, a Spanish manuscript in the library, and somebody who has Latin, which is convenient because a doctor does, could try to interact with the artifact if you choose to go the route of interacting with the artifact.
Yes, we're going to try to interact.
Try to deactivate it, Doc.
All right, because you already know that it's dangerous, but let's give it a shot.
Is the only people in the house? Is the only people in the house us, or are there others?
There are servants, but they're fleeing for their lives now.
Okay, that's what I want to be clear of.
Everybody else is like, oh my gosh.
Well, if you guys can give me some time, barricade. You know, give me some time to do some reading here. I can try to see if I can figure it out.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think fleeing helps us because we're going to have this thing and they're
Yeah.
these things
Just
are
gonna
just going to
follow
follow us and keep attacking us.
Absolutely, and they probably don't sleep like we do. So, yeah.
You think?
Work your esotericism.
Okay. So
Just give me time.
when you examine the Spanish manuscript, you can
Oh,
read it, and to try to recover the chant used to deactivate the stone, you must make a stability test. Now, I will tell you, you want to spend points on this.
Oh, I am going to.
It starts very high, but it drops by 1 for each attempt.
Okay, starts at very high and drops
And-
by 1.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then you can make one attempt. It says you can make one attempt every few rounds, so every few seconds, really. Okay, so go ahead.
I'm going to spend 2 on the first one, I guess.
Okay, you want to spend more than that.
More than that.
Let
Wow.
me tell you, your first check is a 10.
All right, so I'll spend 4.
So you need to roll a 6 to be successful.
Actually, that's all I have, unless we recuperated something.
You only have four left?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. You're going batshit crazy.
Yes.
Go for it.
That's all we got. Oh, roll a 7.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you lose the 4 you spent
'cause we
and 1 more.
Okay.
So as the doctor starts fighting, or trying to figure out the Spanish manuscript and working with the artifact, you go to what? -1?
Yeah.
Okay. Now let's take a look at that. What does -1 do? You will be
Shaken.
Yep, and it's the same as being hurt physically.
Shake.
All difficulties are +1, and investigative spends are impossible. You now need to make a test versus a difficulty equal to the absolute value of health,
What's
actually
his-
to stability, to stay conscious.
What's his pillar of sanity, though?
I don't remember what it is, and we haven't even looked at those yet.
Yeah, mine was
Oh, it was a drive. If you follow
the
your
feature
drive,
of humanity.
Oh, drives. Yeah, sorry.
Something to that effect.
the drive is what gets you back your
Oh,
stability.
there it is.
His drive should have been curiosity, not adventure. Really.
Yes, tripping. Well, actually, that was a sudden shock for the doctor.
Yeah, I had sunshot.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
my
sorry.
pillar of sanity is the innate goodness of mankind.
Dun, dun, dun. Okay. All right. So the next roll or the next check is a 9. However, you have to add a +1 to it, so it's 10. So you literally can't do it.
That's right.
You are now at the point where you're no longer able to even try to control this thing. You are just frazzled.
So what is
Yeah. Well,
what is
you
the
are.
check?
He is shaken. I was actually going to do the wrong roll. I was talking about the health roll. It's not a health roll for your sanity. So you are conscious, but you are clearly shaken. Anything you try is going to be more difficult.
Gotcha. Well, he's just
Can someone
freaking
else
out.
try it?
You can't.
It's not working. It's not working.
Yeah.
It's a stability test for anyone who tries.
Go for it.
I'll try it.
Okay.
I don't have languages, though. Do we need languages?
Well, he has given you the information you need to get started. It might be wrong information. We're about to find out.
All right, I'm going to spend
And the zombies are getting closer. They're up on the shore.
6.
Okay.
Right?
So you're really going to try this. What you got?
I got a 5.
5 on dice.
It's 11.
So 11. Once you have succeeded, you relive the experience of being shot by Croft from the perspective of the priest. So this is that vision that the doctor had earlier. At this point, the zombies are still coming up towards the house, but the creatures that were starting to crawl up behind them start to retreat back into the ocean. You've done something. The zombies are still there. So at this point, it's probably time to run away.
Yeah. I'll take the attempts every now and then to see if I can shoot a kneecap or two
Okay.
to
So
slow
you
them
can
down.
be shooting while you're running. Now, because of the rain and wind outside, as the difficulty is increased by 2
I
for
believe
each
that.
ranged attack. But the only way off the island is by boat, and the motor launch is still at the boathouse. And there are also rowboats nearby for any suicidal or brave investigators. So getting to the boathouse requires a fleeing test.
Okay.
So let's start with that. Who wants to go first? I know the police detective doesn't flee anything.
Yeah.
Nope.
I'll be
He's
trying
He doesn't
to
have any
flee.
points to use. You can still run.
My character will flee.
Okay.
However many points you have in fleeing? Is that what you use now? or what?
The first investigator to run, this is the way it works. Each person that runs, you'll be seen by the zombies, and they will start coming after you. So the first one has the easiest check, and as each one runs, it gets more difficult because there are more things coming after you.
Gotcha.
So let's start with whoever's going first, and give me a fleeing roll. I won't tell you what the difficulty is, but it's going to get more difficult as each person
And you don't
goes.
spend points in this case?
You can't. This is part of your general ability, so you're able to spend points to increase the roll.
Okay, so I'm going to go spend 3 points.
Okay.
First one. 8.
8,
Total.
that you are successful. You get your way down towards the boathouse first. Who is up next?
I'll go next.
All right, Mr. O'Neill. The zombies in their nasty rain-soaked state are kind of shambling, and most of them have pieces of themselves falling off, and it's kind of a nasty and putrid scene. The smell of the ocean is horrid.
I rolled, but I totally forgot to tell you my spend. Can I
You
re-roll?
didn't tell me what the roll was, so go for it.
Well, the roll was bad, but let's just do
That's
it again.
fine.
I was going to spend. This is fleeing, right?
It is fleeing, yes.
So I was going to spend 3 of my 6.
Okay, go ahead. And tell me what you got.
8.
All right, so you made it. Who's up next?
Call us,
try to
call us,
run.
baby.
Okay.
I'll try to run.
So-
I'll also spend.
Good.
I've got 10.
You have 10 in fleeing.
3.
3. Go for it.
Let's try that.
Why not go higher?
All right. I'll spend 4 then.
All right.
I'm gonna need 3 pair of shoes.
To flee.
9.
9 is successful. That lets you get past the zombies as their nasty outstretched arms try and grab you on your way to the boathouse. Lastly is a police detective. What's he doing?
I'm going to shoot.
Shoot? Shoot and run, or just shoot?
Shoot and run.
Okay.
Can he use athletics for something? Since he doesn't have
Athletics
fleeing?
is like climbing stuff. Fleeing is getting away from monsters.
I was thinking since he doesn't have fleeing.
Who's
Well,
got the artifact?
it's contested. This is a contest.
do.
They're trying
You're the
to
one who
get
did it.
you,
I have the
and you're
artifact.
trying to run
Okay.
away.
I have the artifact. Okay. We just have to confirm.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. I'm going to.
So start with your fleeing and then the attack.
All right. Fleeing.
Come on,
I will
Slim.
spend my 0 points to add 0 to this roll.
You have 0 fleeing.
I rolled a 1.
You rolled a 1. Okay. The police detective is set upon by zombies as he discharges his weapon. Go ahead and shoot. You'll be at point blank range now.
Set
Don!
upon.
Somebody go help
Yes.
him.
Go ahead.
All right.
Let's see what happens.
5 on the dice, so I beat
Okay,
their
so that's-
threshold.
Yep.
And the damage is another 7.
Nice.
Now, as part of this, as you reach the boat ramp, they also have a chance to try and catch you. Oh, really? I just rolled 3 1s in a row. You were already caught, but the other zombies don't reach the boathouse before you guys can get on the launch, but the police detective is behind. He did not make it to the boat.
Mike, go get him.
Right, and I still have my pistol from earlier that I picked up on the
Yep.
boat, so I'm
Right.
gonna sprint out. And is there one that has him or
Several.
several?
I'm yelling, go, go, go.
Well,
We're not leaving without you, Slim.
first I'm gonna try to shoot each zombie one time and see if it gives them a chance to get away.
Okay.
So was that weapons, firearms? What is that?
That is firearms. Firearms is any ranged weapon. Weapons is when you have brass knuckles, a billy club, whatever.
I have nothing in firearms, so I just
Okay.
roll.
And
One.
You
One.
have the difficulty goes up by 2 as well, so you are not. Yeah.
With the one I would.
You will not hit them. So several shots go wild into the wind as the zombies continue to pound on.
Shots scare them off. They run away. Yeah.
No. I'm just going to roll for 3 of them, and 2 of them hit, and you will take 4 and 2, 6 points of damage as the zombies continue to try and rip pieces off of you.
We have to go help him.
What can I do to escape?
From this point, this would be I would call that an athletics to try and escape. Athletics or scuffling to break your way free of their grasp.
Okay. I will spend 5 scuffling. Is it
Okay.
going to be separate checks or
It'll just be 1.
1 check?
Yeah, and then I will roll for them to see if they happen to
Can I try
hold
to
on
distract them by showing them the artifact?
You can.
So that to try to give him a chance to
Let's
break
see
away?
if it makes any difference for what he's doing first.
So that's an 11 to scuffle.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I should have picked this ahead of time. Hey, all right. So I think we're tied on that.
Really?
For zombies, they actually have a high scuffling, and there are 3 of them.
These are the fast zombies.
Well, they're not necessarily fast.
I know. I'm just kidding.
There's just
28
more
days
of
later.
them.
Yeah. Right.
Does my showing them the artifact help at all?
They do not pay any attention to you. They don't seem to care about the artifact now that you have been successful in whatever that chant was that you said.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Is there anything I could throw at him?
There's plenty of stuff blowing around in the wind, including bits of sand and grass and stuff like that.
There
flying
a rock,
around, but
a couple rocks I
you
could
could
use?
probably try and throw a rock, but you know so far that these things aren't damaged by stuff like that. You really got to shoot them good like the detective was doing before that stuff happened.
Do we have anything else we can shoot?
I've got 3 more bullets, and it's my turn.
Now the zombies are now starting to approach the launch where you are. They're approaching the dock.
I say go one more time and I bring the gun to my neck.
No, Slim!
No.
You can't do that!
Okay.
I thought your
what are you guys
scuffle was-
doing?
I
You've got
thought-
zombies now cutting you off. There's no way you can get back to him without running through them.
We have the artifact, right?
You do.
You don't have it.
I have it.
Tilly has.
I'm not leaving Slim. I'm not leaving without Slim.
Guys, we have to go. We can't risk losing this artifact.
That's right. To the.
She hands it
the
to you.
zombies.
Give me the gun.
Tilly, no, what
Tilly,
are you doing?
You can't help
Going back.
I can't help.
Can't help it.
Let's go.
So
My friend.
She's going back. You're going to try and stop her.
All right. I'm gonna grab Tilly. Let's go.
Okay.
He's my friend. I've
Are
known
you,
him.
are
doing
you
the,
just going to go along with the doctor?
No, I'm
Or
gonna
you're
try to.
fight?
I'm gonna fight to
So
try to
we'll-
get to.
We'll have a
So
little
yeah, let's
resist
just
action
see,
going on
let's
here.
do an athletics or scuffling, and it's versus. Whoever gets the higher number succeeds.
Yeah. One. She's going to go save her
So
friend.
neither of you said you were spending points, so the number is just 1 and 3.
No. One of
Therefore, she
No, I
got
wasn't.
away, and she has run into the arms of several zombies in between you guys and the police detective. You guys are on the motorboat. You're on the launch. What are you doing?
Yeah.
I mean, you're shaking. Like you're
Yeah.
freaked out.
It's on the edge.
I'm
man.
fairly freaked out.
I'm freaked
Okay.
out for sure.
And I'm more importantly, like I don't think that we can't risk the artifact, like going down here and leaving the artifact on this island.
That's right.
So, who has out of the two of you? Who has piloting?
Under which skill? General?
It'll be a general skill.
I don't think either of us see.
Okay.
Neither one.
So neither of you can spend points on it, but somebody's got to get the boat powered up and out to sea.
I started to power it up.
So somebody's going to roll this and see if you can get it.
4.
The difficulty is 4. So you're able to get the boat powered up and start heading out to sea. Now fleeing, let's see. So you have fleed. All right, you guys have successfully gotten off the island.
Is there any way? Can we loop? Like, are they near enough that we can loop around and try
Yeah,
to pick
I
them
mean,
up?
is
You would
there
have to
anything?
go up onto the shore. You would have to beach the boat in order to get to them. Because they are currently being, devoured by zombies.
Yeah,
I had a
Torn
gun.
apart.
I'm going to shoot her first and then shoot myself.
I have a gun. I could shoot myself.
Oh, it's too late. He shot you.
Dude, he puts the gun to his head. He goes, "Wait a minute."
Well, I don't trust her to hit herself, but she's being eaten alive.
That's pretty good.
All right, so as the motorboat, as the launch goes off into sea, headed back towards New York, a fire breaks out in the mansion and the Fire Island, East Fire Island. A fire breaks out in the mansion, and you can see in the distance behind you the zombies retreating back into the sea, and that closes out the adventure.
As we're driving off, Doc sobs for the loss of his friends.
Yeah, they didn't make it. They didn't make it. And one thing that's interesting is that test to deactivate the artifact. I was surprised that you made it. You rolled very high, and at that point, it actually stops the deep ones, and they retreat back into the sea. So you never actually got to the deep ones. They should have made it to the house, but that check worked. I expected somebody, more than one person, to pretty much start going insane trying to mess with the artifact, but that was pretty cool. You made that roll.
And then I died with
Well,
the zombies.
that- yeah.
Needlessly.
But you saved New
I
York.
wasn't gonna mess with I was not gonna leave without my childhood buddy.
From the game mechanics perspective, you deactivated the artifact. If you had just run away and left it there, the old ones would have claimed it and retreated back into the ocean.
Nice.
But you would still had to run away. And if you fought back, you would just end up dying.
Yes, of course.
Like we did.
Of course. Yeah, like you did.
It was a combination. So hey, that was a one-shot adventure of Trail of Cthulhu.
Tomato.
Yeah, what'd you guys think?
I
Wow.
enjoyed it.
Very fun.
I like the mortality of it.
Yes.
Yeah, the purest adventure, and I was saying earlier, if we went on a campaign with this, that where the doc would have suffered some sanity loss most likely, and that doesn't come back, right? And we didn't do any further rolls on this, but it could have happened. And there's stuff sticks with you in this game.
Yeah.
It lasts for a while.
Pretty creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it'd be fun. I mean, I like it. I spent a lot of time with the rulebook and checking it out, and I think it's really well done. It's interesting. I think it'd be fun as a kind of a mini campaign to string a few of
Yeah.
these together, because I think watching the sanity rule play out over time and role playing it would be fun. Like there wasn't any real danger of sanity or even like hardcore stability loss here because it was so
One shot,
self-contained.
yeah.
Right.
What you
Hey,
think?
if the listeners want us to play, give us a leave us a comment on the
Hey,
website.
yeah, let us know. You can leave us a comment on Facebook or adventuresfromtheshed.com. Send us an email at adventuresfromtheshed@gmail.com.
Yeah, and next time it would just be Kevin and me playing.
Most likely.
we need, since we killed off.
We might have to find some new friends.
Absolutely. That's right, Kurt.
I definitely do also.
Silly.
I like the mortality of the purist version of the game. You can expect that your character isn't going to last.
Not
And
at all.
I like that idea.
I do too.
Knowing ahead of time that you've got a good chance of either being insane or dead, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
When you don't know it ahead of time and it just happens, it's not so cool.
Yeah,
Knowing
Lovecraft
it.
and Cthulhu, you really shouldn't have a happy ending to anything.
No.
This was definitely a bittersweet one where you managed to save the day, but not without some sacrifice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of Walking Dead. You know what I mean?
Literally.
Walking Dead,
Walking
literally.
Dead.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's going to wrap it up for us here on our 2016 Halloween special and Adventures from the Shed. And once again, a big thank you to our special guest, Kevin, who did not redshirt his way out of this one. Doc Wellington made it through the adventure.
Yes.
All right,
Thank you,
awesome.
everybody.
Everyone have a great
Bye,
Halloween.
everyone.
Absolutely.
Happy Halloween.
Great Halloween.
Be safe. Don't eat any apples.
Get apples?
Apples.
You say
With the
get
razor
apples.
blades.
Apples with the
Well,
razor.
don't eat razor blades then. Eat the apples.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
The preceding podcast was brought to you by One Joe Young. You can find us online at adventuresfromtheshed.com. Boo. Happy Halloween!